transmission line on the distribution, so,
Clean.
in the morning and it's got contract with right away, it needs to be
Allows us to go through this house.
children.
We got pending homes.
Yes. Foster to play room, I mean, he knows all over. He's got a little home care that he himself has been 63,000 miles on the road. So, he has very good, kind of doing everybody sitting here, he's on call and. He's got a lot of sales, some things that won't buy, he'll go out and, he's a member of the Anglers Club. So he'll go out to the Anglers Club and he'll go play sports, such as that, but he's mostly that. No.
You call him Barbara?
These are really good. But maybe more time had a good long thought about going back then, and I'm like, well, I haven't changed. She did. She told me the other day, she goes, and I love it. She's like, yes, and I just told her.
Hey, is that the agenda for tonight?
Yeah.
Do they have?
Turn it back.
And it's just funny that all those people are still there. You know, they don't change the world. But I think it's weird that they're not that way. So, she was like, my mom, that's her, that's her. What's Clay doing? Playing bad?
Yeah, it works. Yeah, Rex wanted to help me.
Yeah.
When are they planning the zoning? Everything in municipal. Discussion of possibly approving.
I'm communicating this quietly.
For the public hearing or about a line item?
About the,
About the rezoning? We'll just wait till they open up the public hearing and then raise your hand and go.
okay. And then I did want to turn in an application.
No, I can take it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we got
I don't know, but I feel like I'm coming out.
Oh, good.
Circle that side of the room. Yeah, at least this one before. At least this one before.
How do
Getting fire marshal coming now.
see how fast they get through this?
That's what I'll speed up. Oh, I haven't seen them put those lights on in a while.
You want the subject lit up.
Yeah, sure. Make sure they all do the same. Get their face with expressions.
Not happy about
So what side of the fence are you guys on?
We're trying to figure out what's going on tonight. Is it?
So they're trying to ESD1 cancel the contract. Well,
To put in the fire department?
ESD1 fire chief Steve Watson, and I got the text messages. He was the intern director for ESD1 Tarrant County. Went in and canceled the contracts for Flyer Arena. He killed the funding for you guys to cause this whole issue, and now they're trying to go to ESD1. The snake that started all this, they're trying to contract with the snake. And the folks up
Because
here.
ESD1 in Springtown is wanting to take over this area.
Correct. And raise your taxes another 10%.
Well, I'm
And-
for ESD1.
But they're gonna keep the money. They're not gonna refund it. They said last meeting.
So, well, have you been to the ESD1 meetings in Springtown?
I have not.
You need to go to this.
Well, my house burned down because ESD1 signed it to my house.
ESD1 in Springtown.
Yeah. You did.
Oh, am I going back there?
You want your picture?
Well,
I thought we were gonna put them up here.
standing room only.
They sent an empty tanker to the house.
where did it come from? Springtown, Hunter, or where?
ESD1.
Well, I don't know. But I don't trust Reno either. I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised in Reno, and I'm not a fan.
I live out in Stewart Springs.
I don't even want to be in the city of Reno. We live on the other side of Jacob Lane. I wish we were out.
They're going to take away equipment and hands from the rest of the county to bring in 2 fire stations here. Oh, sorry, 3.
You brought the food box, brother.
1 in the mud district and then 2 on the other side.
Yeah, but normally, where do you live at? Where's your address?
Springtown.
Springtown.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Reno at all, so I just said it'd go away. I voted to dissolve it. Like I said, I grew up here.
Yes, yes.
I've seen too much over the years.
You have to squeeze by now, I'm sorry.
Well, and not saying Reno couldn't have done that either, because Reno's pretty.
I'm just saying I have the text messages doing that.
Kind of a shit show in herself.
Selective
And I'm not
enforcement.
taking up for them, but I'm just saying.
Look, selective enforcement here with different people instead of applying the rule of law.
If BSD 1 came in, I mean, you'd have Lahana, you'd have Springtown, there's one in Poop. They're wanting to put 2 out in this area. 3.
But they're going to take all the equipment from all these other stations and bring it here and raise my end. My eyes are
I don't think they're taking it all from the other. You need to go to the meetings that ESD 1.
He was here the last time he said that.
Oh.
Steve
Well,
Watson said that right there.
I think they're going to pull some to cover till they can afford to get more or something. Or they wanted to work with Reno and use the fire station here. Reno told them no. They didn't want to work with them at all.
No, he went back around. He was killing the contacts and trying to get them outside.
So, I don't know. I don't know enough on that to argue about the whole thing.
Let's get this rodeo on the road.
Recording in progress.
What's that for?
All right, everybody, we'll get this meeting started. Today is Monday, September the 8th, 2025. It is now 7:01 p.m. Take roll call. Kevin Vanderberg. Here. Jennifer Vogel.
Here.
Shelley Swift.
Here.
Ed Ron. Here. Edward Payne. Here. All council here will show a record showing we got a quorum present for council, and we'll go ahead and move on to invocation. Shelley, will you do the honors?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us this day, for giving us cooler weather, giving us a chance to get outside. Lord, please be in this room and in this meeting with us tonight. Lord, help us to make good choices for our citizens and our community. Lord, help us show respect for each other. And Lord, also please forgive us when we do you wrong, when we sin against your wishes. Lord, please be with those that have ailments right now, that are sick and need your healing hand. And Lord, everything we do in honor of you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, moving on to mayor's comments. We do have a lot of people in the crowd today, so want you all to know to be respectful for one another when they're up here speaking. Today, I'm going to actually time you. You're going to get 3 minutes to speak. I'll try to give you a check your last 30 seconds and let you know that you're getting close to the 3 minutes. you got more than one item on the comments form, you'll speak another 3 minutes for each item. I do have a speaker system here that Matt's gonna have a microphone with him, so that you don't have to come up and talk, he'll stay in the middle there and he'll hand you the mic. Try to help you guys out from having it's pretty crowded in here. Okay, with that said, we'll move forward to council comments. Kevin? All right, Jennifer, vote?
Yes, I do. Can I come back to me, please?
Not ready? All right, Shelley?
Not right now.
Okay. Ed Ron?
Not right now.
Edward Payne?
I may have something later, but not this morning.
Sir? All right, Jennifer? Thank you.
Okay. First of all, my voice is cracking. I love Friday night football and did a lot of yelling Friday night. So, we're here tonight to vote on something that is right in front of us, and it's obvious many of you here are also for the same reason. It's on rezoning. I've lived in Reno since the late 90s, and I've loved this city. I raise livestock. I don't live in an HOA. I value my freedom, and I don't want anyone telling me what I can or cannot do to my own property. By the same standard, if I come before my city and ask for something that is legal and falls within our ordinances, I would expect my council to honor that. Tonight, we're voting on a rezoning request. This is not about personal feelings or emotions. It's about following the law. As council members, we took an oath to uphold the ordinances and laws of our city. That oath must mean something. Our responsibility is not to bend rules, but to apply them fairly and consistency. Reno cannot afford another lawsuit, and we certainly cannot afford to set a precedent of ignoring our own ordinances. This is about respect for our laws, for our citizens, and for the trust placed in us as their representatives. And so I will end it where I began. We're here tonight to vote on what is right in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 7, city administrator comments. Sir, you have anything for us?
No, no. Well, actually, I do, I've discussed with you, I haven't been able to speak with all the council members, but today I had a meeting, a very productive meeting with TxDOT about possibly adding a turn lane in front of the school out here in front of City Hall. So they're going to be conducting a feasibility study to see if there's enough room to do that. And also I requested a traffic and feasibility study to have a light placed at Reno Road and 199, and they are acting on both those for us.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 6, back to the citizen comments. When I call your name, see here, Matt, where are you at? Where is Harry Harris? Right there?
Yeah. Are you Matt? Okay, thank you, Matt. I am a ex-council member. I'm also a citizen of Reno ever since the city of Reno become a city. I live at 1420 North Cardinal Road. I also drive a concrete truck. You got a bunch of new homes that's been put in place. We deliver concrete to these homes. We have delivered concrete at North Cardinal and Donna Lane and Katy Circle. We wash out wherever the concrete company tells us to wash out, right on the property. I understand that there is a MS4 program in place. Why would we have a program if we're not going to manage the program? Okay? I am concerned with the problem of no one controlling where it is. I've been working for this concrete company now ever since January. I have not seen evidence of anyone going out while we're there. City of Springtown, when we pour concrete in Springtown, they have a washout pit. We use the washout pit. City of Reno does not have anything in place to control what is happening. That's a concern for me. City of Hazel has a designated washout area. 15 by 15 area for us to wash our trucks out in. Nice, clean area. Whenever we wash out here on this property I'm talking about, we just wash out wherever they tell us to. Is that right? It is not. I'm concerned because I am a citizen of this city of Reno. I don't like it. I don't like doing that. I've seen new homes built all around me. I've grown up here since I was 14 years old. I don't like it, what I see. And this city, if we're gonna be called a city, should have programs that they enforce. I have not seen evidence of enforcement, council, none whatsoever. In the 4 months that I've been delivering concrete there, I see nothing. We do just today in a rural area. Do they get permits to pour concrete? Do they get permits to do whatever they need to do to build, right? I know they do. No one is governing, no one is managing what needs to take place.
You got 30 seconds.
And we as citizens, we should be concerned about what's taking place in our city. This is a major concern of mine. And it should be a concern for every one of us. If we have programs in place, no one is governing what is taking place in this city. I am very angry about this. You have a gentleman here who's going to be speaking in a few minutes about dogs. There's nobody who takes care of the wild dogs.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Harry Harris. All right, next up is going to be Bryce Heath.
Is this still on 6?
Should be 3 minutes, I think. All right. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm Bryce Heath, and my family of 4 is called 1700 North Cardinal Road home for 2 years. And we've lived in terror due to uncontrolled dogs and illegal structures at 1710 North Cardinal Road, owned by David and Meredith Hull. This is a community crisis, and I'm begging you to act on 2 motions to stop this nightmare before it destroys more lives. Our family's lost a dozen cherished animals, cats, chickens, our 5-month-old sweet and beautiful Great Pyrenees puppy, Mabel, who was just mauled to death in her front yard by their dog pack. 2 days later, her sister Claire was torn apart on video, needing 3 surgeries, and I'm out $3,500 in vet bills so far, which went up today. Last year in a livestock, I actually had to shoot one of these dogs as others escaped. That's a trauma that haunts my wife and kids as they all witnessed it. The city came, they took the body, and they eventually were just simply cited for dogs at large. This was not an acceptable punishment, and it does nothing to prevent more attacks over the next year. It's not just us, 6 other neighbors, many are here tonight, have also experienced these attacks. Some even have signs in their yard screaming serial killer dogs to warn others of this terror. The Granados family next door, they fear what's next, a kid being attacked. It's not just our pain, it's a street-wide epidemic. The Hulls were just cited again for dogs at large after the murder of Mabel and the vicious attack on Claire. Shortly after Reno PD issued those citations, they shot some of their dogs, an act of animal cruelty that my surveillance captured. The gunfire and the screams, that's piling horror onto our already broken hearts. I do praise Officer Alexander Dominguez for his empathy and relentless effort to cite the Hulls. Done everything in his power, but it seems like his hands are tied by gutted animal control. So that easy cut has just left us defenseless. Our pets are slaughtered, our families traumatized. It's outrageous. I don't know how many more have to suffer. And the root problem lies in failed code enforcement. The Hulls property is an illegal trailer park, 9 unpermitted RVs and shacks, breeding chaos and danger. Let me give you an answer. Their nephew, illegally living there, plagued by meth-induced psychosis, terrorized us, yelling threats on camera, even while I was flying jets thousands of miles away. My family was too scared to walk on our own land. This added unnecessary stress to my already stressful job. He eventually faced charges, and we fought for a 2-year, 200-year protective order. Another expense, that emotional and financial devastation is thing. I was just pleading to act, create a motion. One, can we not hold a budget workshop to restore animal control or find suitable solutions? Like maybe county partnerships or empowering our PD to take action that can actually stop these attacks? And create a second motion to investigate code compliance at 1710 North Cardinal Road and dismantle those illegal RVs and shacks. I brought evidence, videos, photos, police reports, documents, and I just hope you show these other Reno families that you won't let this terror continue. Please make some motions and stop this now. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Would you mind sharing about the animal control goals that you have set on bringing back the animal control as soon as possible?
I am. That is one of my highest priorities, and sir, I will add that just as sure as I'm sitting here before you, that man will be arrested. I'm familiar with the case. I have the offense report completed. We will be going before a judge, and we will be getting an arrest warrant for cruelty to an animal.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Mabel's here with us.
I'm sorry, you're gonna make me cry looking at that. Is that the ashes?
This is Mabel, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's awful.
We're so sorry this happened, yes. But there is a plan in place. We're working with it.
And I am also scouring the budget, doing everything I possibly can to find every spare dime to bring that position back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next person, Courtney Gambleton.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Courtney Gumbleton and I reside at 1275 Jackson Trail. I remember a few years ago I was here to testify against having this neighborhood, I think it was still D.R. Horton at the time, come through Jackson Trail to get to 199. And I'm here again to say the same thing. So I believe that the city of Reno does not have the infrastructure to support this neighborhood. And I would just like to briefly describe my street on an average day. So Jackson Trail is a wonderful street. It's very quiet. It's a dead end. Every morning, myself and my neighbors, we walk our dogs. It's very peaceful, it's very quiet. We have other neighbors drive by and they slow down their vehicles, they wave at us. Sometimes they stop and they say hello. And basically when I leave my house, I hop in the car and I drive by, I wave at everybody, and then, there's the traffic from the school. We have to slow down between, 9 and, I don't even know what time, for a couple hours in the morning and then a couple hours in the afternoon. And then we get to the alfalfa business, and then they have trucks that are unloaded, okay? So I have to wait for that, plus the buses that are coming and going. And then today is not my trash day, but it's some of my neighbors' trash day, so I had to wait for the dumpsters behind them. Basically, anybody who's driven on our street, Jackson Trail, knows that it does not have the capacity for more vehicles. It's a very quiet street. It can barely handle 2 vehicles, normal-sized vehicles at the same time. Where I live on the street is kind of the elbow. And this is where the school bus has to use my driveway to pick up children, drop children off, and turn around and leave. Because there is no other spot on Jackson Trail to do that. I no longer have any students in Azle ISD, but I'm happy to continue to let them to do that. But what's going to happen when we have a neighborhood with 2,000 homes going through? In addition, I would like to say that TxDOT would have to do a feasibility study on Westline heading toward Fort Worth on 199, because already it cannot handle the traffic that exists. Once again, my name is Courtney Gumbleton. I reside at 1275 Jackson Trail, and I am against this. Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 8. Appointing the planning and zoning members, Rhonda Gannon and Darren King from alternates to place 4 and 5. Discussion on appointing Rhonda Gannon, alternate place 6, and Darren King, alternate place 7, to fill places 4 and 5 respectively. Discussion is open.
Darren's in Hawaii.
He was here at the last P and Z.
Well, they, I think they were both.
How long ago was that?
Any questions?
2015.
Okay, I can move on to item number 8B, action on appointing Rhonda Gannon, alternate place 6, and Darren King, alternate place 7,
And
to fill
also
places
last
4
year.
and 5 respectively.
And they never showed up.
I'd like to make a motion on appointing to appoint
Lightning strike.
Rhonda Gannon, alternate place 6, to fill place 4, and Darren Keene, who is currently in alternate place 7, to be in place 5.
A motion on the floor to pass 8B. Do I have a second?
I second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 8B passes. All right, moving on to item number 9, creating a municipal fire department. We'll have a discussion on possible approving ordinance number 2025-05 to create a municipal fire department. I do have public comment forms for this item. Do you guys want to speak after the discussion?
Please.
Paul, is there any drawback to creating a municipal fire department? Is there any liability or anything else that you're aware of?
Well, there's always, anytime you add any new personnel or a new department, especially one in public safety, there is a little bit of liability that entails it. Of course, our insurance through TML would cover such a thing. And if the city took ownership of any fire trucks, they would also be placed on our vehicle plan. If we were to ever hire any full-time firefighters or volunteer firefighters, they would be covered. Should they get hurt under workers' comp, should they get hurt while battling a fire. But outside of that, that was probably a longer answer than you wanted. But there are all kinds of advantages to creating a municipal fire department. It's firefighting is and public safety in general is a very complex profession.
So while we contracted with ESD1, and kind of where it seems like we're moving to, having this as kind of a fallback in case that vote was to fail in November, is there any drawbacks you feel to that at all?
In my opinion,
Yes.
I see none. I see it only as a strength for the city. Even if at some point in time you decide, or the voters decide, however the ESD1 issue turns out, by just creating the fire department, you're not hiring any fire personnel, you're not buying a fire station or fire truck, you're simply creating it under ordinance, which have some advantages, because you would be then permitted to apply for grants in the name of the city, for both from the state and federal government. So, but if at any point in time in the future that you decided you didn't want to continue with the fire department, then it's totally under your control as the city council.
So we could always at that point move to resolve it.
You could, yes, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I have something I want to say. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So creating a municipal fire department would create unnecessary liability for the city. At that point, we would no longer be just a contractor. At that point, we would be a service provider. It would increase the cost of our insurance through TML, and it would increase the cost of our insurance on our people. It would also open us up to lawsuits if the contracting company didn't provide adequate service.
Would you say that's all city employees are covered with insurance, workers' comp and things like that we already have? Would it be similar to covering with insurance?
It is. It's a group policy. Yes, ma'am. Same thing as auto insurance on any vehicles that the city owns. Again, if you're asking me, which apparently you are, obviously, and I appreciate you. the confidence you placed in me. There is no law or statute that I'm aware of in my 35 years of being in government service that prohibits you from having both an ESD and a municipal fire department. They're you know, so like they're mutually exclusive. As a matter of fact, they complement one another. But yes, I would have to add that anytime, just like the animal control officer position, if I find the money and we hire someone and that employee gets bitten, then that's going to be a workers' comp claim. It's a hazard that just comes with being in government service.
I do have an update. I spoke with Tarrant County ESD1's fire chief, and he did take it to his board about contracting with us to cover Reno, and the board turned it down. So that leaves us with Parker County ESD1 that's still willing to come in. That being said, what happens if the citizens don't vote for the 10% or 10 cents tax increase for an ESD? I think it's wise to have a backup plan and go ahead and have a municipal fire department created in place. Something that we could start filing grants for immediately in case we need it. Many of you know my husband's a fire marshal. I've been a first responder since I was 18, and we both, my husband and I both believe we do need an ESD. So we've wanted one for years. I just want what's best for all citizens to be covered and be safe. I do hate that we're losing our Reno Fire Department. They have done us a wonderful job, and I will publicly stand up and say how much I love them and how much I'm happy that they have fought for everybody here in horrible, on their worst days of their lives. They've done a great job for us.
I'd like to say something. Listening about this wasn't even a subject when I was thinking about it over last week, but the animal control, that is something that we have needed to figure out how to get back in there. Of course, with the problems we had before, it's gonna take a lot more than just hiring somebody and having it. Because we had that before and we could not control it. And so the deal with the municipal fire department is, in my opinion, when this kept being brought up over and over again, I'm thinking we have departments that are lacking right now. Our police department is lacking, our water department is lacking, our street department is lacking. And it doesn't seem feasible to add another department when you're already lacking in the departments that you have, that you're already responsible for. And when they came in, I thought, in my own opinion, I thought after talking with Moses that we could figure something out until we could even do the ESD ban, or we could, do whatever, but I thought we would be able to work something out until the time. And then later on, it's over with October 1. So then we got information from ESD1 about something that could be done, and it sounded to me, and I might be mistaken, but it sounded to me like we could contract with them, going over whatever the contract is, contract with them on October 1 and make it for a year contract. And then if the citizens voted for the ESD1, then that contract would be over with as soon as they voted the ESD1. If the voters said no, they don't want the ESD1, then we could stay under contract with them until we could figure something out. I don't feel like, in my opinion, adding a municipal fire department right now is not financially stable for the city. I think we have too many other things that we need to take care of, that we need to clean up. And kudos to Hector, has been cleaning up as much as he can, but we have a lot more stuff to do. We have fire protection after Moses leaves, if that's what we so desire. I don't think adding another department to the city, another liability, another expense. We found out it takes, and somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, it takes over $1 million a year to run it. We're used to paying, $350,000, and we're struggling to pay that. So I don't see how we can pay that much. I do hear that if we started the municipal fire department, we didn't have to really do anything with it, we just put it in name only. but that also leaves another department that we're financially responsible for. We can start hiring anytime, we can start buying equipment anytime, and right now, I don't know how the city can afford to do that and still try to bring the other departments up to where they need to be for what the citizens need, and also bring back animal control. I just don't see that's even an option, and that's what I just said.
And as far as the grants are concerned, the state and federal agencies that provide grants for fire departments, they're not gonna give grants to a city that has no staffing, no actual fire department. They're going to give it to the cities that have an actual fire
An
department
existing,
way before they give them to us.
So Paul, you mentioned in our last meeting, and I'm pretty sure I heard it twice, you said currently the city is not financially ready for a municipal fire department. Do you recall saying that?
I do, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
At best, we might be able to swing one, maybe two paid firefighters, but that would be it. And
By doing that, we need to purchase vehicles, correct?
we do that, go down on the fire truck.
We'd have to have a building, correct?
Indeed, yes, sir.
Yeah, all those things are expensive, things that we can't afford today. Let me ask you, let's say we are looking better next year in 360 days. Can we bring this back to the agenda again and talk about municipal fire department?
That is your prerogative.
It's possible, right? So, in my view, as the mayor, we're not ready for this. As a matter of fact, to answer Jennifer's question, after, if the citizens do not pass the ESD1 and the contract that ESD1 provided you that you have, is covering us for the rest of the year for the next fiscal year, according to that contract.
If both parties agree, yes.
Yes. Well, that's why they've written it up. So if we agree to it, of course, yes.
And the chief, I did ask if they would still contract with us if we did create a municipal fire department. He did say yes at the workshop.
Any other comments?
One other.
Okay.
Also, if the citizens do vote for ESD in November, the odds of us being able to stop ESD and bring in our own municipal fire department once they've started service in this area, it's extremely difficult. And any debt that they would have incurred during the creation of the department that they're gonna build up at Knob Hill, we would have to pay that debt back to them.
I would venture to guess that, being a betting man, that once ESD1 did take over, I think the city would embrace it, and I think they would do a good job for our city. I mean, that's my opinion.
well, yeah, and also we would have to put it behind it and eventually have that station at Knob Hill. And then we would be covered on both sides, and we just have to come to the middle.
And there's no more discussion. I'll open up to the citizens that wrote up these comment forms. Yeah? All right. Kim White?
Kim White, 345 Scenic Wood Drive. I'm gonna piggyback on what Jennifer said. I mean, it's unfortunate that we are losing our Briarino Fire Department. Many of us have depended on them. They've been at my house on medical calls. We love them. They're ingrained in our community. And what I have to say is the shame and disappointment I have for our mayor and several of our council members that put our fire department in that position to have to make a decision to move along is disgraceful. For one of the council members to actually tell someone that if they would have known that it was gonna make me and my husband happy that they voted for the ESD 10 when it was proposed, they would have voted the other way. I don't expect that from a council member. What I expect from a council member is to do what's right for your city, not for your vendetta. I, for one, am grateful that Parker County ESD 1 is a stand-up organization. They're here for us. It's never been about being against the ESD. It's about being against why it's been forced on us. We have three options. We have a municipal fire department with a contract with Parker County ESD. We have a straight contract with Parker County ESD, which is exactly what we had with Briar Reno Fire Department. And then we have an option of voting in a tax, of which you've already collected tax for and are holding on to pay for the contract that we already had. So in that essence, it's great that Parker County ESD 1 is gonna be here for us. The presentation they gave was stand up. It was great, but the fact that we haven't courted them, we haven't dated them, I don't wanna marry them yet. I don't see a reason to commit to a tax that you already have our money for, to pay them. Let's give it a year. In a year, we can do a municipal. In a year, we can vote an ESD tax. But right now, y'all put us in the position we're in, and it's a forced position and it's shameful. Thank you.
Y'all might be clapping, but she's absolutely wrong on we put them in this position. We did not.
I am not wrong, sir.
No,
Too
sir,
many
no,
people
ma'am,
agree.
let me speak. Here's the issue. We would have never gotten rid of Moses. He had a contract with us, we would have extended it. ESD 1 went on the ballot because some citizens filed a petition. That's why that went on. The council did not do it, the mayor did not do it, the citizens did.
The year-to-year, the month-to-month contract with the fire department.
We extended their contract so that, make sure that
On
they
a
had
month-to-month
they had
basis.
money. I'm not gonna argue with you,
I'm not
I'm
arguing
explaining
with
what
you.
happened.
I'm stating
Please,
facts.
please, well, I'm telling you. So, those are the facts. Thank you.
Does anyone?
I got, next,
Okay, go ahead.
next person is Todd Seidel.
Todd Seidel, 1979 Lee Road. Can somebody tell me a city that has a municipal fire department and an ESD? Is there any cities that actually have that? And if there
Hazel.
is, what's the purpose of it?
Next door, Hazel.
Hazel's got its own fire department, doesn't have an ESD.
Part of it does.
Right?
Part of it does.
No, city limits. Anyway, and if you want to do any municipal fire department, you can wait till November. Let the election go forward, it's going to happen anyway. And I know some people don't understand this, but we barely saved the city. Half the population voted for an ESD. There's a lot of people who voted for the city because of financial reasons and what we thought the city could bring to us. And not everybody would vote for a municipal fire department that voted for the city. They look for financial responsibility. You're not producing anything by sitting here and having a vote on municipal fire department tonight. Put it off till at least after the election if that's what you want to do.
Stephen Roy.
Where's the mic?
So everybody, ESD 1 started.
Where do you live?
108 Chance Court, sir.
Transport where?
Springtown.
Doesn't matter.
Good. So anyways, ESD 1, why does that matter? I got ESD 1 too. My house burned to the ground because they sent an empty tanker to the house. Anybody gonna say anything about that? They shut down the fire department that was only 1.3 miles away. They had to get to staff it. That was 6.5 years ago. You think that they're gonna do anything different for you guys? I mean, in January of this year, they started a petition, and I had the text messages from Steve Watson stating that he wanted to cancel the contract with the city of Reno with Tarrant County ESD 1.
So why are you here? I'm confused.
Because this affects my place too. They're gonna take resources from the rest of ESD 1 to staff 2 of your fire stations.
So it affects you in the county, not necessarily?
Because I'm in ESD one. I get to vote on this too now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Go look at the ballot, sample ballot on the elections for Parker County elections. I get to vote on this too.
So do you not want us to get ESD?
I want the voting municipality in to provide you a little bit more protection, because when you provide a municipality, you have a little bit more protection as in, because you have the identifier clause, that doesn't work. Like, if I was going to sue the contractor that did something wrong, it doesn't work that way. I have to go to the person that actually hired them. Like, in other words, like, if I got a builder that has 10 different contractors that's building my home, I don't go to the 10 different contractors assuming because they built my home incorrectly. I go to the builder. You guys are the builder. That's how it works.
So he's adding to that argument for the liability.
Yeah.
Darren Kelly?
Good evening. My name is Darren Talley. My wife and I live at 605 Pillar in Rocky Top. I am a retired firefighter of 30 years for the city of Grand Prairie. We chose to make this our home, and we absolutely love it. Yeah, there are some situations that have come to bear. I think we're all painfully aware of what we need, and we need it soon. October 1st, we no longer have fire protection. ESD1 has stepped up to the plate and said, we're willing to provide services for you. This is what we have to offer. I am a proponent of a municipal fire department. I grew up in one. You have more control over the things that go on in your city, but folks, we're not there. The startup costs are phenomenal. The time that it takes to put all this together is a long, arduous process. It will take years to complete all that is required to put together your fire department from square one. There's a couple things with the ESD1 I still have questions about. Most of them were answered here tonight. If we do go down the path of signing a contract that you alluded to, the monies are already there in place that we would have paid for the previous contract to Briar Reno Fire Department. Maybe that's our best bet, just to get things kicked off and get things in place. October 1's right around the corner. And I don't know about y'all, but I do not want to go without fire protection. My insurance company doesn't want us to go without fire protection, so it's going to get costly if things go south. Along with that, I really do believe we have an opportunity here, and I'm going to implore the mayor and the council, while we have these talks with ESD1, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling to get an ambulance up there on the north end of town as well. I think we can all agree that the growth here has been phenomenal. It's going to continue. Right now, we don't have the resources on the north end of town. If we have an emergency medical incident, it's going to take 20, 25, possibly 30 minutes for an ambulance to show up. And that's best case scenario. So let's try to plan ahead, and when we get the engine company out there on Knob Hill, let's see if we can't talk to the hospital district into also providing an ambulance for us too. And it's not just for us, it's for the county. So, and Steve Hunter, the chief for Parker County, he informed us that they all have working relationships in their stations already with the Parker County ambulance. So let's just go ahead and work that in. I love the idea of the municipal fire department. Takes time, takes money. So let's table that for now, my opinion, and let's work on ESD1. And then once that gets here on a contractual basis, then we still have the ability to say, okay.
Hey, Darren, we're at 3 minutes.
Thank you for your time.
Next up is Eric Hunter.
Thank you, Mayor. Jill, I think you and Kevin took most of my points. I don't know if y'all were sneaking looks at my computer or not. But, tonight, the decision to be made is simply not whether we want a municipal fire department, but whether it's a responsible and prudent decision to rush into its creation before we, the voters, have had a chance to vote on annexing into ESD 1. I understood, and I think somebody confirmed this earlier, but the contract with ESD 1 would extend from October 1st this year to September 30th of next year.
That's correct.
The logical path forward is to postpone this action, table this until after the vote. If we don't pass the tax, we don't pass the ESD tax, you've got until September to work out a municipal fire department, to work out additional ongoing contracts, because I think they would continue to contract with us. And by standing up our own municipal fire department, we're gonna miss that, I'm sorry, I got off track here, but the ESD is gonna be a clear and affordable alternative with the dependable service and a predictable and capped rate of 10 cents per 100. That's capped by the state constitution, requires a constitutional amendment to change, which requires ratification by the voters of the state. By contracting with our own MFD or even through the city, we're subjecting ourselves to fluctuating rates. They may fluctuate that rate a little bit. We may pay 10 cents, we may pay 11, I don't know, maybe we'll get away with 9 cents. But we don't know, it's gonna be fluctuating by more than just property values. But I think most of you kind of made the points I wanted to make. It's a good decision, I think, to wait. Let us vote for ESD 1 or not, and then continue on with whether or not we need to form a municipal fire department. So I'm gonna go end it there, but I thank you for your time.
That's all the comments I have from the citizens on this item. Council, you guys want any more discussion?
How many times have we tabled the municipal fire department?
We have tabled twice and turned it down once.
And then it was brought back up and tabled again, right?
It was tabled once, we brought it back up, it was turned down, brought it back up, and then tabled.
Okay.
I would like to make one more comment.
Okay.
The startup cost to create a municipal fire department from scratch, depending on the kind of vehicles that you purchase, the size of the building, and the cost of the land, is going to be anywhere between $4 and $10 million. And I mean, we have an average annual budget within the city, counting our water fund, of right at $4 million. So just understand that that's going to cost the citizens a much higher tax than just what the 4 to 32 cents that it's going to be this year. More than likely, that's the recommended tax is 32 cents. It's going to cost way more than that. Y'all's tax rate is going to look more like Fort Worth at 67 cents.
That's with 0 grants ever, and
I mean, until we
not
have,
spending all the
We
money right
said
now.
startup, right?
that's the startup, that's to create the fire department.
Even if we
Until we
created it, it's
have-
fine.
Until we have the trucks and the people, the funding and the staffing, the federal agencies and the state agencies are going to get that money to other agencies that already have those things way before they go to us. That's just the fact of the way, that's just how it is.
Dr. Lilly, what's your thoughts on that? On getting grants for a startup municipal fire department? I know that we had another person here that was mentioning getting grants, being able to get grants quickly with a startup.
Well, in my experience, there's nothing expeditious about the grant process. You have an open period, then a closing period, and then they'll evaluate each application on its merit. But of course, my advice to you is just to give you my professional opinion and try to help steer the city, steer each of you in the best direction for accountability. You can't receive a grant fund unless you apply, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. But at the same time, even if you create a department in name, you know, the application process for grants is tedious, but at the same time, there's a lot of them out there. So you have, all of you have an enormous decision to make and several options. But it rests entirely on your shoulders, whichever direction you go. I just want to reiterate that I urge you, please, to take action no later than September 15th, so that we don't leave our citizens without any fire coverage whatsoever.
Does that also include block grants? I know you said that the grants, tedious, long. Does that include block grants as well?
Yes, ma'am. A block grant is just a grant where they give you a block amount of money and you can use it towards, say, 10 individual items as opposed to a grant specifically to buy a fire apparatus or something of that nature. Yes, ma'am. And then you have matching grants where the city might be required to put up, 25% of the total grant award. And then you have 100% funded grants. Of course, those are always the ones that are in highest demand as well, because if a city or an ESD or a county can get a grant without having to put any money out, so all I'm trying to do is illustrate there's steep competition. When y'all interviewed me for city manager, I mentioned to you that in my now 36 years of public service, I've applied for 23 grants and I've been funded 20 times. So even I missed out 3 times. So it's not a perfect system. You put your best foot forward, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't.
If we created a municipal fire department tonight, that doesn't mean we're gonna spend millions of dollars right now. Just means we'll have a backup plan in place, just in case.
Again, you have all the options are available to you. Yes, ma'am.
What were you saying about September 15th? If we didn't vote this before September 15th?
Well,
She doesn't know. Creating a contract for.
Creating, right, that's the September 15th is the fail-safe that I've set for myself to please. We need to make a decision by then. Whatever decision you'll make, I'm begging you to please try and make it by then so that those left with carrying it out have another 15 days before we're without.
Right, okay. I just want to make sure.
Running it down to the wire.
Right, I was just, but I did like the idea of wait until after the vote. And because I have to go along, I've done a little bit of research, not a lot, with what Kevin is saying is without any staff, without anything, they're not gonna just give you grants because you asked them for it. Well, because you have the department written down, they're not just gonna start giving you grants because they don't know where it's gonna go.
Right, now, in a grant proposal, if I may, ma'am, you put your best foot forward, you tell them what you would do with the money if they were to give it to you, and that's how they make their selection. So, it's it's a two-sided coin. Lots of volunteer fire departments are started throughout the state every year, and they start with next to nothing and no full-time personnel, and they get what grants they can. Sometimes they win grant awards, sometimes they don't. You just don't know until you start down that path, but it can be an expensive path as well if you're trying to self-fund it. Yes, terribly expensive, I might add. Yes,
But creating or not creating a municipal fire department doesn't affect our contract that we may or may not approve on the 15th.
That is correct. That is correct. Well, it would if you took that money that we were paying to Briar Reno and you can dedicate that money to whatever you choose. My advice to you, if you're asking, sir, would be hold on to that because we're going to need that funding to make sure that our citizens are not left without fire coverage October 1st.
So we can't just use the money that we were paying the Briar Reno to start funding the municipal fire department. We have to use it for the next year for our service. If we pass the contract with ESD, that's what we'll have to have that money for. So the tax money that we're already collecting is going directly to that contract if we pass that.
Right, it's part of your overall budget. You can use it for whatever you would like, but.
Well, yeah, but we need the money to pay some kind of fire department.
Indeed,
So,
yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
that's what it's there for.
It's an enormous responsibility that you have on your shoulders.
Could you clear something up for me?
Yes, sir.
Kevin mentioned something that we can't get grants without having an actual fire department that's established with equipment, the firehouse.
It's harder.
It's harder. Have you ever been part of requesting any type of grants to help create a fire department?
I have not directly, but I have seen it occur. Yes, sir. It does happen. That's usually, like I said, how a rural volunteer fire department begins, and lots of times either they get a used fire truck donated to them, or they get a grant a block grant to go out and purchase one. I mean, it does occur, but the competition, it is steep, yes, sir.
Right, that's all I have. Anybody else?
We done for all the speakers and everything?
Yeah, we got all, nobody else needs to speak. I'll move on to the, item number 9B, action on approving ordinance number 20.
Let me say one thing. I brought this back up for consideration on this agenda for tonight only because we had last week the fire workshop, and not knowing what would come out of that yet, but there were posting requirements where if we were gonna have a discussion about it tonight, it had to be posted before we actually had the meeting last week. We're also having a meeting about fire on Thursday. So considering that more information may come out there or whatever, the main reason I wanted this on the agenda tonight was so it would be part of the discussions. Short of what we're gonna have on Thursday night. And what?
Thursday night's the 9/11 tribute for Reno and celebrating them. Yeah.
We're still gonna have some-
No, that's it.
Well,
Just the
scratch
name.
that. Too many emails and phone calls. The one thing that's not very obvious is whatever we do in a muni, it's not gonna be able to do anything for us for October 1st. So I'm gonna move that we turn this down.
All right, I'm gonna move on to, item number 9B, action on approving ordinance number 2025-05, creating municipal fire department.
I would like to make a motion to deny ordinance number 2025-05, creating a municipal fire department.
I got a motion on the floor to deny 9B. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Any opposed? Any opposed? That's when you say,
Any opposed, yes, sorry.
you say no. Say
No, no.
no? All right, 3 ayes. 2 noes. 9B has been turned down. All right, moving on to item number 10, proposed plat for Springfield Addition Lot Number 1, Block 2, being 1.03 acres of the land situated in the city of Reno, Parker County, Texas, being situated in the MEP&P R&R Company Survey, Section 37, Abstract Number 942, Parker County, Texas. Number 10A, we're open for discussion, council.
Is this one that was just in front of the P&D? Is this the same?
Yes.
Yeah. Justin here?
Justin is here, I can see him.
Or Greg?
Dude, he's back there.
What's he gonna say?
That here.
Justin, I think recommended we looked at that plat, y'all, y'all didn't see an issue with that, did you?
No.
I mean, I looked at it, but I haven't looked at it since.
He's just separating, 1.2.
Put the mic up a little higher.
He's just separating 1.3. His property. There's nothing.
And it's gonna have, it'll have access to the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's ETJ, correct? Okay.
It says
I think there's a son or a daughter.
I'm just saying, sorry. Oh, yeah, the city.
The ETJ one had more.
Everything looked good on it.
One minute.
Yeah, let's put it with us just because it was easy.
Those are typo. On, B, it says situated in the city of Reno? I was thinking it was ETJ.
The ETJ property had no action because they were redoing the survey and the property.
Okay, so
So
this is,
This is the one inside city limits.
okay, well,
So this one was approved for, to be sent to y'all for approval,
But this-
recommended for approval.
this one came right out on Dover Lane, didn't it? The property itself, was that the one? I don't remember.
No, it
No,
does
it's
not.
Springfield Road. It's Springfield Road. It's not Jaybird Lane, it's Springfield.
We
Road.
just sold my parents' place, which was on Jaybird Lane. We were in here a little while ago in August,
There were 3
and it
acres
was
in
3 acres. Now we're doing an acre, and it's on Springfield Road.
Okay. I was trying to remember what they just got finished passing the other day, because we've had so many maps, I can't remember which one it was. It's nothing to do with anything, except I just didn't remember what.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
We didn't just look at it.
it's just an acre out of our 75.
And again, it's 1.03, so it's over the one.
Well, this one's saying 1.0. Is that correct?
Yes, it's just an acre lot.
1.0.
1.0,
1.03.
1.03, 1.0, I don't know. What difference does it make? They couldn't square it up, make it 1.0.
It's because the .03 is the boundary,
03.
and the acre in the center is shown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's sitting before y'all, it's good.
I'm sorry, no, Jeff.
If they don't need it to y'all, it'll be.
No, I don't.
Kevin, you didn't see the issue.
It says 03. That's right.
1.03, because you're built lines.
All right, no other discussion, let's go ahead and move on to item number 10B. Action to approve the proposed plat for Springfield Addition Lot 1, Block 2, being 1.03 of land situated in the city of Reno, Parker County, Texas, being situated in the MEP and P and R&R Company Survey, Section 37, abstract number 942, Parker County, Texas.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Got a motion on the floor to approve 10B. Do I have a second?
Somebody call it.
Got a second from Ed? Ron? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 10B passes. Okay, at this time, we are gonna be, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, bathroom break. And you guys get, I know there's a lot here, and then we'll get back to the public hearing. It is now 8:02.
But you can bring it tomorrow, I can have Jeff. That's who has to sign in front of you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You could bring it up here tomorrow, and I could get Jennifer to notarize it.
And then
I take it to work, I just need a check for 100. Yeah, I should get it confident. It's Parker County's policy, I don't get it. I make the check out to Parker County, and then I go file it. I got called by the got told that I'm supposed to bring it up. I took it this way, once I found this, it takes about 3 business days, and I can reach out to them and get back on that. No, that's.
I'll be down tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you. I think I
I never.
You hang around him too, huh? You doing all right?
What are you doing?
Well, we don't pay attention. I'm cutting out work for you. I just want to say something.
Yeah. These are
get this started, guys. Let's get the council back up here. Hope you all enjoyed your break. Rebecca? Where's she? Very good. We're still recording, right? All right, thank you. It is now, we're back in session here at 8:11. All right, I'm going to move on to the public hearing. When we get to this public hearing, I will let the developer come up and speak first, and then I'll open it up to the public. And at that point, we will let each individual speak if you want to, and I'll give you 3 minutes to speak on it, and move on. So I'll go ahead and read it. Public hearing to receive comments on an application to rezone approximately 603 acres located east of South Reno Road and South Walnut Creek from SF1 Single Family Residence District 1, A Agricultural District, and C1 Commercial District to PD Plan Development District. And if such rezoning deviates from the future land use of the character map of the comprehensive plan, an application to provide for an amendment therefrom. We'll be opening it up, the public hearing starting at 8:12. Hughes?
Hold it down just a minute. There you go. She's coming in. Hang on a second.
There it is.
There we go.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Lee Hughes, and our group owns the 603 acres. That's the subject of rezoning tonight. My office address is 9728 Camp Bowie West.
Mike, closer.
Sir?
Mike, a little bit closer.
Okay, thank you. And the property is at the very south city limits of Reno. Our group has owned this property since 2004, so a little more than 20 years we've been involved in the community. I have with me tonight Travis Clegg with Westwood Engineers and Ben Wright. Travis and Ben have been involved in the project for more than 3 or 4 years now, so they're intricately involved in the engineering aspect of it. I'll be able to answer some engineering questions and stuff as we go forward tonight. I've been in the home building business, real estate development for about 40 years, come January. A lot of gray hair from all those times of talking to councils and working with cities. It's the part of my job I enjoy. Cut my teeth on master plan communities in Colleyville, South Lake, and Keller. Such communities as Terra Plantation, villages of Woodland Hills, Monticello, Georgetown Park. All of them have stood the test of time for more than 40 years now. All these communities involved HOAs, amenity-driven subdivisions, parks, trails, lakes. That was back in the late 80s and early 90s when not a lot of developers were doing this. So this project, or the scope of this project, is not something that's new to me or new to our team. I just want you to know that we do this for a living. This is what we do, and this is what we know. In September of 2024, I came in front of this council, and you passed a resolution for us to go and work on forming a municipal utility district. And we did that. We went to state legislature, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we got a municipal utility district approved in this last legislature, Bill number 5679, which became law, became statute on September the 1st. So what does this mean for Reno? Municipal utility district. It means we pay our own way. We heard the council loud and clear. Can't stress our water, and we want you to help us get ad valorem tax in this city, but do it the best that you can do it on your own. So when we got the utility district form, what that means to Reno is roads, water, drainage, sewer, all those things that you can do in a municipal utility district, we do inside our district and we pay for it. So here's the good news for Reno. In today's dollars, in our estimates that we did with residential strategies, we're showing about $640 to $700 million in ad valorem tax base. And that's today's dollars. So if you take the number of lots times the taxable rate, or excuse me, times the value, you'll get the overall ad valorem tax base. So I'm going to let Travis talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. So a little history between all of us in this community, and we are part of this community. We've been here since 2004, as I said. This community's been through a lot in the last year. Tax rollback, council elections, fire department drama, for lack of a better term, great solutions for that, and disincorporation. And so to rip the Band-Aid off a little bit there, in full transparency, if the city would have disincorporated, I would have been in a wonderful position. Wonderful. I'd have been in the county with a municipal utility district, and we could go and do whatever the county allows us to do, and they don't have much control there. So the good news for Reno is being in the city limits, which we were proactive in that effort. When I promised you that we would help the city stay together, we stood up and we took front and center on that, and we helped with that. Even though it would have behooved us much better to be in the county. So we fought that good fight with you. And if you'd been disincorporated today, there'd be a whole nother discussion going on, because we'd be down at Commissioner's Court and doing a different type of subdivision than what we're doing. So to move forward from that, how do we get through this last year of everything you've been through? You got to do something different. And I want to tell you that if you decide to do something different tonight, then we're the guys that you want doing it. We've partnered with you now for over 20 years on different things, and we want to partner with you going forward. This project will be approximately 20 years. I'm pretty sure it's going to outlive me, we'll see, but it's a generational opportunity for Reno, where your children, your grandchildren can move back to the area. It's very collaborative and interactive. It's not the same old Reno subdivision. Everything we do infrastructure-wise will be new, it'll be state-of-the-art. It'll be the first subdivision in Reno with underground drainage. Everything that we drain off streets, impervious surfaces will all go underground. So I think before I turn it over to Travis and to Ben to give you the scope of the project, I'll just say this to you, that an opportunity for success, and there's only three things, in my opinion, that a city needs to continue to progress, and that's planning, money, and the grace of Jesus. That's it. That's it. You can't screw up the planning, you can't screw up the money. And my experience says the other one's going to take care of itself. So as you listen to Ben and Travis tonight, and members of the community, I'd ask that you keep an open mind and ask us some good hard questions. I'll let Travis Clay come up now.
Good evening. Travis Clay, Westwood Professional Services. So I'm a consulting engineer. Our office is at 507th Street, Fort Worth, Texas. Like Lee said, we've been on the project for 4 or 5 years. I think previously, even coming before you last time, I was actually part of a company called Peloton Land Solutions. That company's been bought by Westwood, so same team, just different flag we're carrying. I brought a presentation. We'll go through it pretty quickly because we hit a lot of the topic points, but The next slide. So again, it's approximately 603 acres north of Highway 199, which is Reno Road. We are in the city limits of Reno. This is kind of different than most districts and muds you hear about in North Texas. The existing zoning is SF1 along with some agriculture and some commercial frontage zoning. Next slide. Property location, I think everybody knows where the property is, just north of 199. This is, the red outline is the 600 acres. The black outline is actually the property ownership of what Lee and his partners own. And so the red area, the 600 acres we're talking about tonight, that is not the entire property that Lee currently owns, just so you guys know. I think you guys are aware of that. Next slide. So just the entitlements to date. Entitlements is your zoning, plating, all the stuff we do in the front end before you see engineering. So the existing zoning of agriculture, single family and commercial. The city council passed a resolution consenting to the creation of the MUD on September 9th, 2024. And I told you back then that you guys would have to see us again before this thing moves forward. You'd have another opportunity to ask questions and be involved in this process. And so here we are again, like we told you guys. The 89th legislature created the MUD. It's actually called the Hills of Walnut Creek Municipal Utility District of Parker County. We'll create it. It's formed in August of 2025. There's no CCN that exists on the property. What that means is there's no city obligation to serve it with water and sewer. So that allows us to do some things on the water and sewer side that are a little bit outside the box than when you're typically inside city limits with regards to water and sewer. I can explain some of that to you guys some more if you like. The proposed entitlements, again, are planning, we're planning to do the planning and zoning commission. Where I did that, got that approved in August. And then city council is tonight for the zoning portion only. Next slide. So next steps. Assuming we have a favorable conclusion tonight, we still have a lot of work before us, right? So once I know how many lots are planned or allowed to be on the ground based on the zoning, I've got to do a water study, I've got to do a sewer study, I've got to do a drainage study, I got to do a traffic study. I got to look at what impacts could be downstream from a stormwater perspective so that we don't impact anybody downstream. And that could be retention, underground stormwater systems, you name it. But I can't do any of those studies until I know what I'm dealing with from a land use perspective. If I were to rezone the property as all commercial or all ag, all that changes. And so we gotta know what we're doing first before we start doing these studies. And these studies should take 5-6 months. We'll be working with the city and the city's engineers to make sure that those follow the criteria of the city and the rules of the state of Texas. After that, we come in from a plat standpoint, just showing the actual road locations. What you see and what you have seen is a rendering. It's not the exact land plan of what you're gonna see in the future. Your road connections may not be the same road connections as shown on that. But we try to do a land plan that met your criteria for your ordinance from the front end, so you got to see what that plan would look like. And then we get into engineering plans for a phase one and into a final plat. So we are still years away from actually putting homes on the property. Next slide. Again, here's the land plan we keep showing. It's a bubble plan. We call it a bubble plan, a concept plan. There's been a lot of talk about road connections. I'm sure we'll come up again tonight. We can have that conversation. I'm happy to do so. But this generally shows you where the lots would go. It shows you where the 100 acres of open space would be on the north end. There's obviously going to be some other open space throughout the system because of creeks and drainage systems and whatever else. But again, we won't know those until we actually sit down and do a land plan based on the land use you guys approve. Next slide. So I think Lee hit a lot of this already. I'll quickly go through it. We're going to provide a significant increase in property tax collections at build out. So I look at your budget from the 24-25 year. I think the second page of that budget says that you expect $90,000 of increase at the Lorem tax for Michigan based on new property to the system. we'll show you that we're looking to put $3 million of ad valorem tax to Reno, based on this project. I'll show you that here in a minute. We'll use our own water system. We're not tapping into the Reno system. We may even help the Reno system with some options that we've been looking at. Those options could be connection to Hazel. It could be a connection to Springtown. It could be direct TRWD. It could be groundwater. It could be a combination of all of those things. But again, it depends on the land use and what kind of densities we're able to create. We will not negatively impact the existing water issues within Reno. We will not increase the sanitary sewer system issues or we'll do our own sewer system. Again, increase in city property tax. The residential tax base will obviously support commercial tax base and sales tax. So additional revenue coming in. We're going to provide, it says 200, but it's 100 now, but it's also got some open space next to creeks and whatever else. We're assuming it's going to be roughly 200. Last slide, I think. This was a quick snapshot of, based on the land plan, which is not nailed down. We're showing 2,000 lots. If you assume, there's a lot of assumptions on here, if you assume a $350,000 value of a house, what you're looking at is $3.9 million in taxes per year from new property tax being put on the books. Compare that to $90,000 in current tax. And obviously, your existing, I think the existing tax value of the property, I don't know, Lee, you're gonna have more information on that. I think the existing tax value is $64,000. So, not a whole lot you're getting out of the property as it stands today. I believe that's the last slide, so I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, thank you. All right, this time, those who want to speak, just raise your hand, and then we'll have, where they are, Matt. Matt, you give them the microphone. As you go by, it'll be each person 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gannon. I live at 1500 Arville Circle. I have some questions about the development. I don't know which one would be able to answer it, but are these homes that potentially are going to be built there, are those going to be made for home buyers? Are they gonna be for lease? Are they gonna be rental properties? Will there be apartment complexes put into this development? Also, I know you still have to do a lot of zoning and whatnots to figure out your streets, but you know, is there a possibility that y'all could make a new road somewhere to go in and out of that would connect to somewhere else so that it doesn't come out on Jackson Trail that can't sustain that flow of traffic? I'll let you answer those and then we'll see if there's anything I need to rebuttal.
So the first question was regarding, are these for sale properties? Are they for rent properties? Are they single family? Are they multifamily? Or is it commercial? Nearly 100% of this is all single family. The only piece that's not a single family deal is the existing zoning on the Reno frontage. So you can see where the black line is. This Reno road is existing commercial.
Okay, that's owned by someone else, correct?
It's still owned by Lee. That's existing commercial. The rest of it is single-family for sale property. Not built to rent, not rental properties, not multifamily. It's still single-family, the rest of the deal. Single-family for sale only. The roads, we can have conversations about roads and how we connect. We show a connection to Jackson Trail and to Pearson and to Reno because the city ordinance requires us to connect to existing roads. We can work with city staff and have those conversations to talk about what makes sense for this community when it comes to road connections. By rule, by fire code, I gotta have 2 points of ingress and egress. Have to. So we can have a conversation about where those need to be and what makes sense for this community, and I'm happy to have that conversation.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there is a possibility of roads. We'll know that later on because we're in the beginning of this. So typically, and Mr. Hughes has done a lot of residential builds throughout the Metroplex. So do we clear cut or do we save the trees that are there? What can we expect with that? And I mean, if you have been to Azle, then you know the speed limits are 30 miles an hour. Good luck going 30 miles an hour because you're gonna hit a deer. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. So, okay, well, so there's gonna be a lot of wildlife that is in this division that we're not going to be able to just get rid of. When you clear cut, you're gonna have squirrels, raccoons, possums, all kinds of birds, all kinds of deer, everything that are running rampant. Azle's trying to figure out how to get rid of the deer. It's not right. They were there first. That was their home. They took their homes away from them. So do we have any plans to be able to have somewhere for them to be?
Oh, there it is. Is that better?
No.
You're not working on it.
Hello? There we go. Okay. So, yes, we are setting aside that entire green area on the north end as open space, parks, you name it. So that backs up to the creek, it goes into Mary's Creek, it goes into the lake.
How many acres is that?
That's 100 acres up north.
I have that many deer coming into my yard every day.
Okay, guys, we gotta watch, we're one person at a time when you wanna speak. Rhonda, ready to give the mic to somebody else. Who's next?
So you didn't quite, the clear cut, or I didn't quite answer that one. Can you give a chance to answer the
Okay.
clear cut or what?
It'll depend on what we do with the city. We'll follow city ordinance and city recommendations.
I'm going to stay standing up. I'm sure they're gonna ask me more. All right, who's next? Matt, back there.
Yes, my name is Holly Moyer, and I live at 1227 Jackson Trail. My concern is this. I understand you have to have roadways in and out, but using an existing roadway without a feasibility study, and to our previous comments, we don't have the infrastructure for this. If you take Jackson Trail out, that would be great, because all I kept hearing was City of Reno, but you're affecting us. So please understand this. We have a voice too. So I would like to know, why is it required for Jackson Trail if you have two other roads?
The city ordinance requires to connect to existing roads. I gotta have two ways in and out. We can have a conversation regarding which two.
You can create a road too, you got plenty of space.
We have
You
to
can
cross
create a
somebody's
road.
property to create a road.
You can create a road. You got plenty of space there.
And I don't understand how I could create a road across other people's property.
You've got 600 acres. I think you can find a way.
Do you have anything else?
I just would like for him to look at this from a way that, again, there are people already in this community that are part of Parker County that are being impacted by this. So yes, I understand that you guys want growth and development, but you gotta understand that there are people here being impacted by this, and we don't have the infrastructure for this. So whatever is gonna be convenient, it should be convenient for all.
Thank you. Matt, right behind you.
I'm Matt Cook, and I live at 1600 Jackson Trail, and I want to thank you guys for praying before your meeting. I commend you for doing that in this day and age. I really appreciate that you preside this meeting with prayer. Thank you. But I wanted to express my opinion as well on Jackson Trail. It is not equipped for this kind of traffic and this kind of road, and we just ask you to reconsider. This is an entry point. As I thought about this today, I thought about Robert Frost. He wrote a poem called The Road Not Taken. And at the end of that poem, he said, I shall be telling you this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that's made all the difference. And what I mean by that, and why I think that's important here, is because, we become Anytown USA, and so the world is full of Anytown USA. In the zoning meeting, I mentioned Fredericksburg, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, even our own, down in Austin. All of those cities have changed greatly, and they lost their identity. Fredericksburg used to be a real quaint, small town that you could walk around in and feel free to go. Now it's become Anytown USA and pretty much looks like everything else. And it lost its identity. And Reno does have an identity. And so I say yes to maintaining the character of our area, yes to supporting our local farmers, ranchers, yes to clean air, dark skies, less traffic. That's why we moved out here. If we wanted suburbs and bright lights, I wouldn't live here. I would live in a place that was full of lights, and that would be the Kellers of the world and other places. Say no to urban sprawl, say no to deforestation, say no to stormwater runoff, say no to Anytown USA. Don't be a sellout. It's easy to follow the crowd. The path of least resistance is choosing the easy money path. Let's choose slow growth and more deliberate growth. Look at Haslett. Haslett is a nightmare. If you ever get stuck over there about 5 o'clock, if you've ever done that, you've been caught in those roundabouts around 287, and it is unbelievable. And it's because they just developed and developed and developed, and they never did anything about the infrastructure. They never did anything about the roads, and they just have made it very inconvenient to get around there. So, anyway, and that's really all I have to say.
Anybody else? Stop here.
Now you want to go first?
No, go ahead. No, go right ahead, stop me.
I want to just step out okay. So, obviously not the city of Reno residents, but I'm speaking on behalf of Basil ISD. So, Todd Smith, superintendent of Basil ISD, so I guess I'd be speaking on behalf of 831 Jackson Trail, which is Cross Timbers Elementary right there. And so, not necessarily openly speaking against it or for it, but I did want to just kind of give some facts that have been made of the approximate, what we saw, 2,026 lots. 1,844 of those are in Hazel ISD. So I know a lot of people kind of question, and we even did when we saw that, of how many were in Hazel ISD and how many were in Springtown ISD. We get the bulk of those in Hazel ISD, of over 1,800 of them as it's proposed right now. And so I know we were here a couple of years ago. Sam had asked Mike Kelly and I, the Springtown superintendent at the time, to come, and we talked to some of you guys. And so I just, we've had a couple of questions that come up. Can you handle the capacity? And I guess a lot would be of how quick is the build out. So I guess we heard some of this, that would be a while. I would say yes. Now there's no doubt that 1,800 homes is going to be quite a bit of homes. I mean, even in some of the subdivisions that have been built in Hazel right now, those are three or 400 homes have been large homes or large subdivisions right now for Hazel. So it's definitely been a while since we've seen like the 1,800 like you would in a Walsh Ranch or something like that. So that would definitely be a lot of growth. But the passing of the November 23 bond, we've really increased our capacity in that kind of that pre-K through 8th grade in Hazel ISD. So we've got a campus right there. Now we would definitely have to take that into consideration during zoning. And so we would, as we were rezoning and then looking at changing our grade configuration. And then, yeah, we would have some needs at the high school. I mean, we still have some ongoing needs at our high school, and we're nearing capacity on it. And so that would kind of accelerate that growth there, as again, we weren't really figuring on that many homes. The other thing that was asked, there's no plans to do anything different with Cross Timbers Elementary. In fact, in the grade configuration change, Cross Timbers Elementary is pre-K through 5th grade. Right now, it's pre-K through 4th grade. So Cross Timbers isn't going anywhere. And then it would be, talk about the traffic, it would be kind of, I think, contradictory of me to say that, traffic, when we have 2 schools that are on 730, 2 elementary schools on 730, we have you know, a school on Sandy Beach Road, but I will say that those roads have the infrastructure to handle that traffic. And so my only thing there would be, there would have to be something in conjunction with you guys, as I know that was some down on the end of that, with the county, and then even the city of Azle, of what kind of infrastructure we would have to have there if Jackson Trail was one of the ones that was used. So I'd ask that to be kept in consideration as well.
Thank you. The lady up here is going to be next.
Travis, did I hear you say that right now the ordinance says you have to connect to existing roads?
That's correct.
So right now, the way our ordinance is written, you have to connect to existing roads. So doing a no road isn't an option unless that ordinance changes.
Correct.
But the reality right now, and Jennifer stated this at the beginning of the meeting, this is all about zoning. The roads are gonna come later. And what Jackson Trail looks like today is not what Jackson Trail is gonna look like when you start building all these homes and have this exit strategy on these 3 different roads that you're planning on using. What I'm looking at is by ordinance, that's what's required. I can tell you in my neighborhood, we don't have a second port of exit. We have one way in and one way out. If we want out, we're knocking down gates, climbing through water towers, and trying to come out the backside. That was done to us, not for us. We have deer, we have coyotes, we have all of that. I mean, all of that is not, some of it's gonna go away. That's just the nature of how it all moves. I mean, it's the circle of life. They said it in Lion King, the circle of life, it all moves on. But right now, what's really at hand is just y'all coming in and zoning this to do the single family homes. You don't wanna do the multifamily, you don't wanna do the apartment, you don't wanna do all of that. And I've seen some of the developments that you're talking about. I've seen Monticello. You're not gonna have a road that can't handle the capacity of the people that you are putting into those homes. And I think that's something that's just being misunderstood. The road that's there now is probably not the road that's gonna be there when your development is done. I mean, it's your property. I see you doing with it what you need to do. And we moved out here for the same reason. We lived across from a racetrack in Hazelwood. We could hear our neighbors' bullet flush. We moved out here for a reason. But there's people that are gonna move into this development that he's putting in for a reason too. And some people want that neighborhood with their kids and their grandkids and whatever. But the reality is what the council has to decide right now is the zoning. That's the question at hand. We can argue about all the other till we're all blue in the face. But I don't see anyone coming in and putting a planned development of this magnitude in and leaving a pig trail for people to escape on like we have. So that was thanks to Mr. Hunter's administration that we ended up with that.
Thank you. I think the gentleman back here wants to speak.
I have some visual aids I'd like to pass out, if that's okay. May I approach?
Sure.
Your Honorable Counsel, my name is Bart Rue. I live at 1570 Jackson Trail at the very end.
Your microphone's not working? Your microphone's not working?
Is it working now?
I'd use the one in your hand.
This one?
That one.
Again, I'm Bart Rue. I live at 1570 Jackson Trail at the very end. I signed a protest. I'm not here to argue we shouldn't change agriculture into single family. Every town does it, and there's a reasonable debate to be had about density, but that's not what I'm here. I'd like to add a little color on this Jackson Trail issue. And that's why I brought this Google map and 12 photos I took this morning at 11:30 on the way to work. Got it, a little slow start. But anyhow, Jackson Trail on this first page is 1.5 miles from the very start to the very beginning. And the elephant in the room is cross timbers. It's right here on this Google Earth map. There is no way you can go down Jackson Trail without going through an elementary school zone crossing with pre-K. That's not going anywhere. So the question is, why would anybody want to route traffic through 2,000 homes through an elementary school crossing if you don't have to? Gentleman here said ordinance says two entrance, egress, and egress. They have two, Reno Road and Pearson. They don't need Jackson Trail. But let me show you, if you would please, look at page 2. Page 2 is a photo this morning at 11:30. There's a 250-yard school zone right through there. I don't care if you're coming down Jackson Trail, you have to go through there. There's no other way to get out of Jackson Trail. And then you go through 2 other neighborhoods to get to 199. If you would please look at page 3. Page 3 is the back stretch running north and south on Jackson Trail. Again, it's about a 1.5 mile road. Page 4, another photo running north and south. To give that some relevance, if you'll look at page 5, that's my pickup truck parked in the middle of the road on the side of the road. As you can tell, you cannot drive down Jackson Trail without one car pulling over on the side of the road and letting the other one go by. That's just how it is. Folks don't gripe, don't complain because there's no outlet and there's very limited traffic. Every person on Jackson Trail is here tonight. We're talking about 10 homes. If you would please look at the next photo. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it comes into Reno. The next photo shows a very narrow road coming down to a culvert. And it's a single lane culvert. And my next photo is looking from the north to the south of that culvert. On this photo right here, I am standing in Reno, Texas, looking south on Jackson Trail, just to give you some relevance. And I think it's really important that you guys understand this. The next photo is a culvert that falls down about 10 or 15 feet in front of Bob Leonard's house, who's sitting right here. No rails, no nothing. To give you an idea what I'm looking at, the next photo is my truck parked on that. There's about 18 inches on one side and 18 on the other. That's how you get across that culvert. You make sure nobody else is coming. It literally is a one-lane culvert that drops off 15 feet. The next 250 yards of Jackson Trail.
Give me 1 more second since you closed it up.
Thank you. Goes north. If you'll just flip through it, the next page is mine. And Jackson Trail grounds out and ends in Alan and Carrie Craig's front yard. When I was at the P&Z, Mr. Hughes said that the reason why they were putting Jackson Trail as a connection is because it dead ends into the development. That is not true. There's currently 2 other options. There's no ordinance that requires a third one. I respectfully request this council to consider not using Jackson Trail.
Thank you, sir.
Like I said, you can always buy right away.
Is this on? Eric Hunter, 1000 South Reno Road. Remember the Anti-District Corporation battle cry? Keep control. Save your water. Save the town. Keep your voice. This is our voice. We don't want this rezoned. I'm not going to let you up, Mr. Hughes, like you asked me. But now you've got a proposed zoning change on the table. A change that many of us oppose due to the negative effects it would have on the city as a whole. This is your chance to show us the value of our voice that was supposedly retained by remaining a city. prove what you meant, prove what you said. A vote against this change is a vote against to honor the promises made to the citizens, demonstrating that local control is a reality, not just a talking point. Yeah, I was an advocate of disincorporation because I believe that no matter what citizens want, some of you sitting there tonight are representing the developer and investors over the citizens. Despite the continued false claims that I approved this, it never came to the council during my time in office. I don't know what was approved on this development. A vote in favor of this zoning change would make it clear that we have actually lost control by keeping a city with a council with members who previously agreed that with those whom they disagree with should be ignored. That was our little niche group that one of y'all said, yeah, you should be ignored. Non-verbally, of course. It would be a vote to disregard the voice of the people and who would expose which council members are once again siding with outside interest over the concerns of their own constituents. Some of you may recall, I think it was Ms. Vogel that voted against the zoning change for an existing business, stating that you were against that due to traffic concerns, which would equate to about 4 or 5 trucks per day along that quarter-mile section of FM 1542 to State Highway 199. The developer adjacent, this is Mr. Hughes, sorry sir, the developer adjacent to that business was the voice of opposition to that zoning change and is now requesting the zoning change himself. One that would facilitate approximately 2,000 or more houses. So, okay, so let's watch and see how she votes for this new change if her previous stance will ring hollow. I want to see if you're really concerned about traffic, because that's a lot of cars. Sorry. I'll end it now. I can't turn the page.
Can't turn the page. All right. Not fast enough. Thank you, sir. Who's next? Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council people. My name is Bob Leonard, and I have the distinction of being the person that owns the property in Reno, where the ditch that Mr. Rue was talking about is right in front of my house. And he's right about that. There's no way that road gets used very much without a significant, probably several $1 million rebuild of that road at that one part. Not the whole thing, but that one part is going to be, it's probably the most dangerous road right now in Reno. There might be some others that I'm not aware of. But I don't want to repeat what everybody else has said. I want to put it in a different perspective if I could. The developer says we need to get this vote in order to do studies about traffic, to do studies about water, to do studies about impermeable land. Well, I'm going to suggest to you that unless you know about water, where the water's going to come from, is it going to be taken out of our reservoir where most of us, and I suspect many other people in Reno have their wells? It's going to be coming out of there, it's going to be coming out of somewhere else. What's that water like? I would suggest to you that voting for this tonight without knowing what the water situation is would be an irresponsible vote. I would suggest that voting for this without knowing ahead of time what the traffic is going to be. I'm not talking about necessarily the full-blown engineering studies. But you need to know the answer to these questions. If you don't know the answer to water, if you don't know the answer to traffic, if you don't know the answer to the effect on Cross Timbers Elementary, I have to go by there in the mornings. The afternoon's not bad because school gets picked up well before drive time. That doesn't happen in the morning. In the morning, there's a line. There's a pretty good one. You put another, even if you just put a few dozen cars on the road, it's going to make a huge effect down there at the school. I think the cost, I mean, I talked about if you have to do something in front of my house, which if you're going to bring people down there, you're going to have to. That's going to be expensive. We're talking about how much money can come into Reno, but we're not talking about what the cost is gonna be of it. This is being sold to you as if it's no cost, only revenue. And and on the other hand, I would, if I were you, I would do my own studies on revenues. I wouldn't count on what somebody else tells you. But the question is, are you gonna vote on this tonight, or are you gonna vote for this tonight? If you vote for this tonight, you're voting for this without the information that you need to go forward. I would strongly suggest that you consider that, not go forward until you know the answer to the traffic, the water, the runoff, all the roads, the expense, until you know all these. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Can you hear me?
There you are.
I'm Rick Reed. I live on 730 North, and I still live in Reno, and a lot of people think that's not Reno, but it is. And you know, Jackson Trail, that's a no-brainer. Jackson Trail cannot handle the traffic. I've got friends that live there, and I've driven that street, and but 1542 is not going to be able to hold all this traffic. And 730 North is not going to be able to hold all this traffic. The people in Boyd are going to be impacted. Everyone who lives trying to get out of their driveways on 730 North. There'll be people coming down your road, down Cardinal Road. When they're late for work, they're going to take any place they can. They're going to, in the future, when I say in the future, it's already a planned thing. They're going to widen 730. And when that thing starts, there's no telling where all this traffic's going to go. So you guys better think about what you're going to vote on, because you're going to impact people from Azle, Boyd, all over the county. I mean, this is going to be a big deal. Like was said, you have no idea what the traffic's going to be. And these guys are just meeting the specifications. That's all they're doing. You know, I understand it. They've got a lot of property and they want to develop it. And you know, like Matt Cook said, it's all about the money. And so, but we've got a long-term, we're long-term. We live here, we plan on living here. And it's going to affect us with school taxes. It's going to affect us with roads. People are, with the traffic, 6 lights from here to Azle now on 730, 6 lights. And it's just because of things just like this. And I've lived here my whole life, 60 plus years, 67 years. And I've seen a lot of changes. And people don't want to move out here to have a big city, like Matt Cook said. They want to live in the country. You moved out here to live in the country. You did. And so don't force this thing on somebody else. You know, take consideration for other people. It's not about the money. They can make money somewhere else. You guys have got the ability to stop this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name's Ted Lyman. I live at 120 East Reno Road. So I've got a couple of questions here. First of all, why are we here? Why are we having a public meeting? When Ms. Vogel pretty much said there's only one choice, there's only one option to approve this thing. Why is there a public hearing? I mean, we're here spilling our concerns. Ms. Vogel says we've only got one legal way to go. I think they've got options. I think they've got choices. You have an obligation to the citizens. That's important. She talked about the legal aspect of it. Her obligations to the citizens. First of all, where is the sewer treatment plant going?
the sewer treatment plant in this mud. Second question, water wells. If you're planning on supplying your own water, it's gonna drop the water table for all of Reno, for all of Hazel. You know, the whole area. Water table is gonna be terrible. And then also widening roads. Reno Road would have to be widened, I'm assuming, to hold the traffic. Some people say, well, they'll all go down 199. Everybody uses Reno Road as a cut across between here and between 199 and 730. So that would need to be widened. Those homes along Reno Road would be an issue. I was here in the meeting, I can't remember how long ago it was, 5, 6, maybe 8 years ago, when Mr. Hughes come up here and he says, I've got 2 plans. I've got plan A, 2,500 homes. I don't remember if 8 acre lots, whatever the case. There's a lot of homes. And he discussed it, we talked it over, and with same open forum. We had standing room only then at that time. A lot of y'all on Jackson Trail probably remember that. And he said, plan A, 2,500 homes. Plan B is 1 house per acre. And everybody said, we want 1 house per acre. And he said, plan B is not really an option. I'm just drawing a comparison to show how much the city's gonna make with a 1/4 and 1/8 acre lot. So I'm not for the development. To me, people that are voting for it, it's all about the money. Keep in mind, the money won't be here for 10 to 15 years before they receive a dime, or Reno receives a dime. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. You got some hands over here and you got a hand back there.
Rhonda again. I know that we're all concerned about the traffic. We don't know where the roads are gonna come out. The fact of the matter is, Reno is gonna grow. It's going to. It's gonna happen. Are we going to determine what happens? So we are here, everybody's stating their opinions, letting the council know what our concerns are. And the council members will vote on that, and they'll take it to them and they'll say, okay, hey, you know, maybe we'll approve this, but we need you to come up with some different, you know, exit strategies. Obviously, let's keep Jackson Trail off of there. Jackson Trail is a big thing here for everybody. But Reno is gonna grow. Are we going to be the ones to say, okay, we have to accept this growth as it comes in? It is going to benefit the city. I understand a lot of y'all are not happy with it, and for very good reasons. I understand that. But the growth is coming. Look at Lake Worth. I mean, look at Hazel. I was a resident of Hazel for 16 years, and I moved to Reno because of the crazy growth. Because the mayor in Reno was just like, you can build a subdivision, and you can build a subdivision, and he turned into Oprah. That's not what our mayor is doing. We need the growth, but we control the growth. That is the biggest point. And I hope that all of y'all can just take a minute to swallow that and digest it. And council, we are looking to you to make sure that you hear our voices and put the stipulations on them. That's what you do. Listen to us, put that forward, put the stipulations there, make them do the work. It can be done, and I have faith in all of you.
Thank you.
I want everybody to think about one thing. Ted Lyons just asked a question. What are we doing here? We're having a public hearing. All these people are being heard. They're all speaking their minds. They're all saying what they need to say and get off of their chest. But the reality is, this past May, if Mr. Hunter and his disincorporation people had had their way, none of your voices would be being heard. Nobody would be getting to say a thing, because this would have already have gone through, and there's nothing you could have said or done about it. because there was no council sitting up here to make sure these people did what's within our ordinances. I get it. It affects Jackson Trail, and it affects Reno. It affects us both differently. But it's coming, and it's gonna be a freight train if we don't have people that are managing it. Ms. Vogel made a change whenever she was here. She came in under one premise, and she's under attack for that. And let me just explain to you that how this proceeds forward is not up to all of us voicing our opinion. It's what is ordinance and law. These people can't afford a lawsuit against them or the city for telling this man he can't do with his property what is legally able to do. One of the things about this property that the zoning was turned down on the M.R. Brass project over on Reno Road, 1542, was that Mr. Brass didn't come into the city like Mr. Hughes did. He didn't ask to rezone his property. He came in and started doing it and wanted to ask for permission later. Or forgiveness, not permission. Oh, I've already done it. What's sad is Mr. Richardson, who works for the company and is part owner in it, is on Springtown City Council. And what Mr. You said, you stood up here one day and said, do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me. Mr. Richardson stood here at a meeting. Mr. Richardson stood here at a meeting and told us he was a part owner. And yes, you did.
You got 30 seconds.
And in that, he never would have allowed that to happen in Springtown. But he came into our city and tried to do it. We've got a council trying to manage this. Let them manage it.
How many times do we get the mic? I'd like to know.
You want another one? Yeah, I'll give it to you. I allowed her, I allowed you.
All right, it's gonna be short. So Reno has an ordinance right now, 1 house per acre.
For septic.
Controlling growth is 1 house per acre. If they want, they preach about controlling growth, control it 1 house per acre, not 2,000 homes.
You can't do the 1 house per acre unless it's through septic, and they're gonna do their own.
Okay. We got another speaker. We're not having a discussion back and forth. You made your comment. We're just letting you make your comment, and then we'll move on to the next person. That way you're not arguing back and forth.
I got one over here.
We'll get Justin.
Go read it now.
Stronger than you.
The reason that we are here, as Kim said, it is a public hearing. It's required to have a public hearing. First off, thank everybody. We've all been working on this and trying to field everything and navigate with all of this for a long time. So I know that we are ready to get thanks, so thank everyone. But again, they are taking care of their own water system. That's just not gonna affect the Reno, it's not gonna affect it. They are supplying their own sewer system. Someone was asking where it was gonna be. It is going to be on the acreage. They said that in the last meeting. I don't know if they did it here, I was in the back, I couldn't hear them. The reason that it's less than an acre is because in the city code, it talks about 1 acre per home with a septic system. That's what's required. Right underneath that, it says, if you provide your own sewer system, you can do 1/4 of an acre. As far as I know, that's gonna be 1/3 of an acre. So they could even be doing more. As far as infrastructure goes, that goes with the territory and that comes with time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 4 lanes up until we get to Reno Road on 730, correct? All the way from 199 to Reno Road and stops and goes to 2 lanes.
infrastructure. Right? Was it always 4 lanes or was it 2? All the way down to 199. When the school came in, the Albertsons came in, the Walmart came in. As things grow, TxDOT, which handles the roads, not the city of Reno, improves the road conditions with tax revenue. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Gentleman in the back?
I would have a little bit to say.
Okay.
I live on Jackson Trail like the rest of these other people. And, you know, you people, you've got a red light to get out on 730. You've got a red light to get out on 199. If you ever tried to get out on 199 off of any of these other, any other roads or anything else, you know, it's ridiculous. I live less than a mile off of 199, and that damn traffic wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you people, you know, you need to go out there and see if you can get out on Pearson Lane or wiggle through on Jackson Trail and get out on 199. And that's where everybody's want to go. They're going to move it. They're going to move back, right back into Fort Worth to work, or they're going to go to Dallas. So you need to consider that, you know, the state is not going to do anything about how long it took y'all to get red lights and everything else. And just like he's talking about the improvement on 730. You know, I've lived out here for 50 years. I picked through all this crap when 199 was 2 lanes. You know, you need to look at all this stuff before you allow, you know, he just needs to figure out, I know that this is coming. There ain't no question about it. It's undergrowth, y'all are growth, but he needs to figure out another way to get traffic out of that addition. Because coming on those 2 particular roads won't work.
Okay. What was your name again?
Chad Ham. I live on
Chad?
1407 Jackson Trail.
Thank you.
Well, it's a truth.
Okay, I think I got it. Holly Moore again. Just, again, we understand that there's going to be growth. We expect it, but we want to do it in a responsible way. If you don't have the studies, how can you make a decision like this? It's like asking your car mechanic, oh, I think these are things that are wrong, but I'll tell you what the price is later. Does not make sense. And just to the point again about water, what exactly does that look like? Because my concern is, do we have enough water to sustain that? I heard different conversations presented. We'll get it from Azel. We'll get it from the aquifer. What exactly does that mean? Where is this water coming from? That's just something I think, again, these studies must be done prior to this decision. Have all your information before you make a decision. Well, this is the city of Reno. We still live in this area. We are your neighbors, and we should be treated with that. We're your partners in this process. We want what's good for the community as well. We understand that. People want to live in this area, absolutely. But let's be responsible. Let's get all the information, and when we get that information, make your decision. But understand, we are your neighbors. Please make a sound decision.
Thank you.
I'm Alan Craig, 1604 Jackson Trail. And I want to keep this brief. Basically, she said everything I wanted to say. Isn't that cool? What we're asking as a group to the council, and this is a charge to the council, put the planning in front of the zoning, not the zoning in front of the planning. Please. There's too many issues here. Thank you.
Just want to add, there's a protest process to this. Becca, I don't know if they met the 20%, but with that 20% requirement of protest of surrounding properties, triggers an automatic requirement of a 3/4 election, doesn't it? Am I wrong there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very respectful.
Sure.
The law changed September the 1st. The law changed.
Okay. 60%?
Hello, okay. The law changed September the 1st, and the new statute is 60%, and then it kicks into a 51% majority of the governing body that's present, the governing body that's sitting. So the 20% rule is no longer in effect.
Okay.
I believe, and I'm not speaking for the city secretary, but I believe the protests were less than 10%, so they wouldn't have met the 20% anyway.
Sure.
Very respectful.
No, no. If you got a banjo later on, we'll entertain. But my point in that is that there's a protest process, which requires a large majority to pass it, which means that the council is under no legal obligation to pass it. So you can get the answer to these questions, the water study, the sewer study, the runoff study, the traffic study. We can get those answers, and you can pass this later if the answers are right for Reno. But once you pass it, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say. It's done. So if you don't like the answers to the traffic study, the water studies, runoff study, too late, too bad. But you can pass it later, and you're under no obligation to pass it now. Thank you.
Eric, are you saying that you want the city to hire all of these expensive studies with our tax dollars to pay for those?
No, I'm saying the
One
developer
that
needs
hasn't
to
been
provide
zoned
you these
for
answers.
residential? I'm trying to figure out how that works.
No, the city wouldn't hire it.
So you want him
The
to
developer.
pay and for all of the studies on land that's not zoned for residential? How does that?
Well, you need answers to these questions before you rezone it. And I think that's what everybody's been saying tonight. And again, you're not under any legal obligation to pass it just because he's asking to pass it. You denied Mr. Braz's. So you're not under obligation to pass a rezoning request.
But not for the reason you said. He wasn't trying to bring in homes, he was trying to bring in commercial from agriculture. It makes a difference. And he had all of his neighbors come out too. And we are hearing everything that every one of you are saying. I promise. I will keep that in mind, and I guarantee every one of us will as we go forward, no matter what decisions go forward. Y'all are all my neighbors here.
Make it quick.
I appreciate that, but we don't have a vote. That's the problem. There's things impacting us, and we don't have a voice. So I appreciate you saying that, but again, the developer can pay for this. He's gonna have to anyway. What's the point of the city investing in something? This is their investment, they're gonna make money off of it. Let them put the money up front.
Any more hands? All right, gonna end the public hearing at 9:19. Moving on to public hearing, discussion and action. To receive recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the rezoning of approximately 603 acres located east of South Reno Road and south of Walnut Creek from SF1, Single Family Residence District 1, A Agriculture District, and C1 Commercial District to PD Plan Development District, and if such rezoning deviates from the future land use and character map of the comprehensive plan, an application provide for an amendment thereof.
I'd like to make a motion to discuss.
You got a motion on the floor to discuss?
And we have, well, I mean, I have some questions, but we need to hear from the Planning and Zoning Commission on.
Do you have commission questions directly to you?
I don't think so. I think they're directly to Mr. Hughes. And, but we're talking, the agenda item is for the Planning and Zoning. Recommendation, action, discussion, recommendation.
I'm okay with Justin coming back up and giving a summary of why it was
So
passed
what is your
unanimously.
question? I don't have any questions for Justin, I have a question, need to know if he needs to tell us anything. Other than,
Who were you, Lee Hughes?
no, the planning and zoning, Justin. That's what the motion, the discussion is.
To receive a recommendation.
From planning and zoning.
Can somebody turn that mic on?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
I was hoping, I'm kind of Shelley. I was hoping that he would give a summary of why it passed
Turn it off.
unanimously.
Is that right there, shut it off?
Hold it down.
Just use your mic pretty close.
Okay, well, the deal was, is there wasn't a lot of discussion on the P and Z, and so there wasn't, I mean, so we want to know, or I would like to know, how y'all came up with your decision without a lot of discussion.
It's a planned development.
Correct.
The owners of this property have been working with city council and the mayor for multiple years and multiple mayors on what was and wasn't gonna happen, right? And so to rezone it, we just follow the guidelines of rezoning.
But I never heard, and anybody else can correct me, I never heard about a planned development. It was always supposed, I never heard about that before.
So part of the property is FS1, which has already been passed, right?
Right.
And part of it is ag. And then, I believe that's it.
Commercial.
And so they're rezoning everything to a planned development again, and then add in all the things that they were talking about. But if everything's FS1, they can't do the potential new fire station and all the
Well, if it's
potential
all
things they're
FS1,
talking
that
about,
would-
right?
That would be the 1 home per acre thing.
No.
That's
I'm sorry?
family.
No.
So, when we made the motion, this is actually not the first stage, that we've already done like stage 1, stage 2, this stage 3, right? And the motion was, that we all agreed on, was that if he brings in their own sewer, that they could move forward. But otherwise, if they don't do that, don't create the mud, et cetera, they have to go back to the 1 home per acre
Right.
rules. So
There,
that's been coming
again,
for a while.
in the city code, it talks about one single-family residence, FS1,
Right.
per acre with your septic.
Right.
And
We
then
have to-
below that is
No.
quarter acre.
I think he's talking about the
No.
most recently added one in the ordinance.
That was only for septic though. SF1 actually allows for 5,000 per acre. The SF2, which would be similar to what they're asking for, would allow for 8 homes per acre. But they're not asking for SF2, they're asking for a planned development. This wouldn't be a whole lot different than like Walsh Ranch or Rising Star out there on Lido or Morning Star, something like that.
So, but back to the question of why there wasn't a lot of discussion about it, is because again, we're planning and zoning.
Right.
We're making sure that everything's right for planning and zoning.
Okay.
And everything was correct, again, the quarter acre and the providing their own sewer system and all the other things that we checked on before. Because again, it's gotta be all correct before it even comes to Rebecca, before it even comes to us. That's why, and then we make sure that everything's good, and we pass it, and then we consent.
Okay, well, that was my main question to you or to the PNC is how did you come to the conclusion so quickly? That's all it was.
The conclusion, so that,
To recommend to the council.
because it fit in the parameters of what's required by city.
For the planning,
Yes.
planning development. Okay.
That's our job, is to make sure that it's in the parameters and it's up to code.
Thanks, sir. Okay, any more discussion? I mean, we have more discussion, I'm sure, but not with the planning. No. No. All right, can I get a motion, council?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-07, establishing a planned development district.
I do not discuss that yet. No, you're on me.
Am I out wrong?
Well, if it's reworded differently, so
Yeah, they're separate items. Yeah.
if you want to
I think the
take
motion
that
would
back.
be to approve, to accept,
Receive the recommendation.
to accept the recommendation, I guess.
We're not
Cancel your motion.
approving the
Okay,
cancel.
all right.
Let me give it a try.
Okay. He needs his
I move that the council receive and ratify the unanimous recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to adopt zoning ordinance number 2025-07.
That's what
It kind of combines both.
No, we're not.
We're not there yet. We still have discussion for C.
So it'll be,
We're just accepting the recommendation
It has
for P and
both.
Z.
Well, it's just kind of, if you do it that way, you don't
If
have
you
to
do
have
it that way,
discussion on the other,
you
but we do it that way.
then we're not doing
I'll
it.
take it back. How about that? Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Okay,
second.
I got a motion on the floor, pass 11B. I got a second by Brock. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 11B passes.
Now I'd like to discuss.
Moving on to 11C.
Yeah.
Discussion and possible action to approve ordinance number 2025-07 establishing a planned development district, establishing the zoning requirements and related matters on an application to rezone approximately 603 acres located east of South Marino Road and south of Walnut Creek from SS1 Single Family Residential District 1, A Agriculture District, and C1 Commercial District to PD Planned Development District. And if such the rezoning deviates from future land use and character map of the comprehensive plan, an application to be filed for an amendment therefrom.
I'd like to discuss.
And we're open for discussion. Now we're on 11C.
Alright, so the developer is asking just for us to rezone the property. He's not asking for any kind of building plan, any kind of building permit at this point. He's only asking for rezoning. And he's made it very clear that it's going to be 6 months at least before all the studies are done. And at that point, if the studies come back that it's not feasible, because his mud has been approved by the state, if it's not feasible for him to build the water infrastructure and the sewage infrastructure, then we'll have to revisit this at that time. But all he's asking for is a rezoning of the property.
Okay, so you're asking to have it zoned in that way. I mean, your plan development is going to look that way. You're gonna come out Reno Road, you're gonna come out possibly Pearson, and you're gonna come out possibly Jackson Trail. Is that how the plan development is supposed to look?
Okay. Yes, ma'am, because that is what complies with your ordinances as they're written today.
Okay.
And to fit into the plan development. Now, I heard the discussion about Jackson Trail, heard it at P and Z. That's up to this council. You could have, there's another 60 feet of right of way on Pearson Lane. So you may say, hey, 2 points of ingress and egress are what we want. And we'll hear you. But I can't bring you something that doesn't meet your ordinance and expect you to say, okay. But as your ordinance is written, Jackson Trail has to be open right now. Now, if you say, when we come back in, we want Jackson Trail to have an emergency gate and fire, EMS, and police, then that's what we'll do. If you say you want it open, then that's what we'll do. But it's not up to us. It's up to this council to dictate that when we come back in. Let me just make this point on water studies and sewer and those types of things. That's why we have, as Councilman Vandenberg said, that's why we have the municipal utility district. We have about 90 million, 88 something. We have about $88 million in reimbursables in this municipal utility district that we have to work with on infrastructure. Water, sewer, roads, drainage, all the things we talked about. Possibly, municipal side of some sort for fire or police or whatever the council says the community wants at that point. So now we have the utility district in place and we get zoned, and that's all we're asking for is the PD zone. Then Westwood goes to work starts working with TxDOT and others on where we go next. And so this idea that you go do it all and then come in and council goes, no, I don't think so. That idea doesn't work. It's not pragmatic. It's not how it's done. So if you approve us tonight, we go do all the studies, and I don't think it'll be 6 months. Quite candidly, I think it'll be longer than that. They're expensive, and they're laborious, and you're dealing with, no disrespect, but a lot of bureaucracy in governments to work through, and it just takes time. And again, it goes back to planning and money. Did I over-answer your question?
Not really. So, on that plan development that you've got, that map you've got up there, where exactly is that wastewater treatment plant supposed to go?
That's an engineering question. I'm gonna let Travis kind of walk you through that. That's okay.
We will try to put it as far upstream as we can within the development. So it's gonna go on the property that Mr. Hughes owns. It'll be within the development, probably along, one of the open space areas, away from the homes, for obvious reasons. Be on the property within the development. Not on somebody else's property, not off towards the lake, any of that stuff.
And excuse me for not knowing this, but by law, does it have to be so far from somebody, from property, somebody?
We require under TCEQ, which is the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, they regulate all of that. So we have to follow their rules on top of the city's rules. So yes, we have to be away from certain uses. We have to be on the property. We have to file with the state reviews it with their engineers to make sure we're following the strict standards of the state, beyond your standards.
Right, and that's for the wastewater. But there was also concern about the ground, what water they're gonna use. And I understand, and I agree with what Mr. Hughes says about why would you, some of this stuff is very costly. Why would you do it if it's not gonna work anyway? And I totally agree with that. But I also think that I don't think it's, that we're doing just if we agree to something that we don't know what it's actually gonna be. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense if we don't know what it's exactly gonna be, because it has changed through the years. It's changed what it's gonna be. And what are the lot sizes? They're gonna vary from something to something?
Yes, be all over the map as far as lot sizes, based on what plan ahead. So 40s, 50s, 60s, 70 foot, they're gonna be various lot sizes.
Okay, because I noticed on
That's
this,
depending on the market.
I noticed on this, ordinance, it says, minimum lot area is 3,500 square feet, 3,500 square feet. That's like 12 homes per acre or something, isn't it?
Your ordinance doesn't allow that, by the way.
Do what?
Your ordinance won't allow 12 homes per acre. I think
Well, I'm just saying, this is what the ordinance is stating, so we would be changing our ordinance for 3,500 square foot.
No, ma'am, very, very respectfully, this plan is about 3 units to the acre, 3 to 1, and your density allows 5 to 1.
Right, okay, I
So-
think that's what you said before,
Yes, ma'am.
possibly going to third acre lots.
Yes, ma'am, it's 3 to 1, so your ordinance is 5, we're way below the 5.
Right, and I was just looking at the ordinance though, we would be changing the ordinance to 3,500 square foot. And.
No.
Do you know exactly, because I looked up how many square foot an acre was earlier? It's like 43,000 or something. 43,560 is 1 acre, and so at 3,500.
That's why you do a PD, that's why you do a PD zone, plan development zone, is where you can do a mixed use of lots. And if you don't fall into a certain category, you're able to be reactive to what the market is. So if the market is, X square foot lots, then we can react to that. If it's X, we can react to that as we develop, out through the community. But because there are some that small, there are some that are larger, and the density overall in the planned development is 3 units, maybe 3.12, I believe, to the acre, or to 1, excuse me.
Right, I'm just looking at the proposed ordinance, and it says minimum lot area is 3,500 square feet.
That's correct. If you look in the bubble plan, you'll see where those are.
Okay, well, it was too little and I couldn't tell, but I mean, that's fine.
Yes, it's only 13 acres. The entire acreage isn't being used for that. You can see in the bubble plan, which is a concept plan, which is also required by your ordinance. And that's what the PD fits within. So it fits within, it's below what your ordinance allows.
We would still be changing our ordinance, that they're 3,000 elements, we would change it to 3,500 square foot a lot. If a home on that is, what they said, somewhere around 1,500 square foot, that only leaves, I'm sorry, I was away from the mic. I read somewhere, and I don't know, it was like home size maybe around 1,500 square foot. Okay, that leaves 200 square foot for a driveway and yard and a tree and.
3,500 minus 1,500, 2,000 square foot left over for driveway, yard, driveway.
Right.
And on our plan that's in your packet, we're only showing 13 acres of that size. And then there's larger lots, for the majority of them. Per that plan.
They're not asking us to change our city's ordinances. They're asking us to create an ordinance for this one piece of property.
Right, because
So it would only affect his 603 acres. It wouldn't affect the city at large.
And further restriction of that is the concept plan showing only 13 acres, 13.3 acres, which is being used for that size lot, of the 600 acres.
Some people just don't want to grow it. It just is what it is. I'm not that people, but some people. So I have a question to follow up with what Mr. Hughes had said. The road, the Jackson Trail, you said that that would be for emergencies, for fire, and for police only?
No, sir. I said that it would be up to the council to determine that. But as your ordinance is written, we are compelled to have to follow that. You have to connect that road as your ordinance is written. You have to connect Jackson Trail. So if this council determined when we plat, hey, when we go through those discussions, we don't want Jackson Trail open. We'd rather have it open. We'd like to have a limited access there for police, fire, and EMS only. That would be up to this council at that point. But we can't make that decision. If we could, we would, but that's taking that out of your hands at that point, so.
Okay, and the road that comes out onto Reno Road right there, is that a proposed road for the neighborhood, or is that maybe that black line that comes across up to Reno Road?
That's a road within the subdivision that would come out to Reno Road that we would build.
And so that then there would be three, one on Reno Road, one for Pearson, and one for Jackson.
As it exists in this plan, per the ordinance, yes, sir.
Can I ask one question?
Make it quick.
Could Mr. Hughes please specifically cite to the ordinance and the language that says Jackson Trail is required to be joined in this development?
It's in the subdivision
So
ordinance.
give me the ordinance.
I don't know the number. I was in Keller last week. I was in Justin all day today.
Well, nobody in here knows it either. What is it?
It's in their subdivision.
That's their ordinance.
That's okay.
Ask them.
So it's number 9.
What exactly
we
does
just-
it say?
It's chapter 9, the subdivision.
Because you said P and Z, if it dead ends.
That's
Today
okay.
we said it goes by.
I can answer that question,
Okay, sure,
sir.
thank
It's chapter 9 in our ordinances is where the subdivision ordinance and all of the zoning ordinances exist. And they're all available on the Reno website.
But what does the ordinance say?
I mean, I can try to pull it up.
He initially said that he needed 2 ways in and 2 ways out. That's 3.
Correct.
That's right.
So why do they need a
He
third?
said 2 additional ways.
International Fire Code says 2 ways in, 2 ways out for anything over 100 watts.
Well, you've got 3 here. So you don't need 2.
For over 100 watts.
Very
I think they didn't
respectfully,
hear all that.
I can't bring a plan in that does not meet their criteria. So if they want to change that, they can. I can't do it. I'm not gonna argue with you about it, but I can't do that. It's up to the council to do that.
Sir, I'm just asking you what the ordinance says. You can't tell me what it says. I can always say, oh, it's in the ordinance. What does the ordinance say specifically about this instance?
You have to ask
Well, I
that.
thought you knew.
I just told you we drew the plan for the ordinance, and again,
What exactly section?
I can't recite your subdivision ordinance. I can't recite it.
I think she's getting that answered for him. That's good, so.
All right, back to council discussion. Any more? Well, I mean, I have some more, but.
Peanut gallery.
Well, I guess I'll go into a few things. Everybody out there's got reasons why they want it or they don't want it.
We can't hear you, Joe,
Hello?
everybody needs
Is
to.
it working? There you go. Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
it's not you, it's the, okay.
Okay. There's a lot of people are voicing things why they want it or they don't want it. This thing started forming 20 years ago during about the end of my time on council back then. This man's been very patient. He's got a lot of money tied up in this. Now, those aren't reasons, quote unquote, to deny or to accept, I mean. But there's a few things people understand. Growth is coming. People haven't stopped having babies. Things are gonna grow, buildings have to be built, businesses are gonna grow, homes are gonna be built, neighborhoods are gonna expand, new neighborhoods are gonna pop up. We all know that. Now, I understand the sentiment that this has been country. Well, I realized 20 years ago, we weren't country anymore. There's been about 80 new houses put up between my house, which is only about 1.25 miles down the road, between my house and City Hall. Growth is here, we're stuck with it. Parker County is the 5th fastest growing county in the country. What do you think that's gonna do to us? So we need to have some stuff in process. We need to handle the growth. We need to try to manage the growth. This man's gonna put in a quality development. He's putting in concrete for streets, curb and gutter. Okay? Not asphalt that wears out in a few years, not bar ditches that overgrow with weeds and stuff and clog up over time. It's a quality development that this community will be able to be proud of when it's finished. TxDOT, somebody mentioned about traffic on 730 being affected by this. TxDOT's already planning to widen 730. It's already on the books. They're getting ready to do it. Sewer treatment. Citizens here want the roads to be fixed. They want the water system upgraded. We need a water tower for pressure control and required distribution quantities at heavy peak times. This had gone in 20 years ago. We already would have had his sewer system in place. We would have already had a trunk line coming up 199. We would have already had businesses on 199 generating sales tax revenue. The more sales tax revenue you can generate, the less pressure you have on homeowners and their property taxes. Okay, 199 and 730 are where we have the potential to get those sales taxes. But we can't get good large businesses in there, big box stores, Bucky's, H-E-B, Winn-Dixie, whatever. They don't have any place to go until they've got sewer system in place. And this can be the start of that. This can be the start of the solution to so much that Reno citizens have wanted to take care of. It's obvious from the map, most of this traffic, and I definitely mean absolutely most of it, is going to come out Reno Road to 199 down the other one, here Pearson Lane, down to 199. Most of that traffic's gonna come out to 199. Very little of it's gonna make it 730. Somebody working in Boyd that lives in there, yeah, they're gonna go around and go up 730. It's obvious most of the traffic will go straight on 199. It's a state highway, it has state resources. The state will address the traffic patterns as necessary. And they're planning on widening it again. Let's see. Another thing people should be happy about, yes, I understand about the wildlife. I've got deer, I could drive home, man, I've got deer in my front yard. I look out the backyard, my dog's having a staring contest with a doe outside the back door. I've got deer all the time. I love it. I consider myself a nature person. This man's dedicating 1/3 of this project, 600 acres, and he's dedicating 200 along that creek basin, those woods over there, and that will help the wildlife. It helps preserve wildlife space. Yeah, but that's very quiet. You ever been to wastewater treatment plant? I'm gonna get our chance. Let's see, what else have we got? Okay, that basically covers it. That's my 2 cents worth.
I got one thing. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, Eric Hunter said that I voted down the MR Braz. And I want to clarify the truth about the reason why I voted that down. The neighbors came, they spoke, they did not want a giant commercial business right next to their properties. It was on agriculture. And while they say commercial business, it was not going to bring benefit to Reno. They were going to continue to manufacture their product in Azle, and Azle was going to continue to benefit from those tax dollars, and Reno was going to be a storage site. I said, if you're going to have another business plan, bring it back and let us know what you can do to help the city. The difference between that and this is we have somebody here that wants to help the whole city with their water. And as most of you know, that was the #1 thing I ran on. I made plenty of videos about it. They're still posted. You can go back and look. But I'm trying to balance what the entire city needs and what can benefit everyone.
Okay, so I still didn't hear where the water was gonna come from, what we're gonna do with it. I mean,
There's several options we're looking at right now.
we don't know.
That's not a definite answer yet, that's what they're saying.
We do have a couple of we have this money to spend, and we have several options. Basically, we have 4 really good options. We're in negotiations. We spent a lot of time at Tarrant Regional Water District as late as last week. We were over there. We're looking at a lot of different options, and it's a negotiation. But to pay for that result is not a problem. So it's just a matter of what direction we decide to go.
So the answer is I don't know.
No, the answer is not I don't know. The answer is we got the money, we got options, and we've got suitors, and we're working with them. But to discuss in an open meeting, the negotiations we're having as it
Well,
relates to
I'm
water.
not talking about money, I was just curious as to where the water.
Well, I don't know, it's not a good summation of what I just said, not at all. I do have a really good idea what direction we're going, but we're in negotiations with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean,
The public hearing is over, guys.
Oh, I thought I'd let somebody answer over there.
Yeah, well, we answered it. I'm just gonna let these guys talk and figure it out.
Well, I was also thinking about, and I've been thinking about this all week. And with all respect, I've been thinking about this all week really hard. Whatever we do in Reno, whatever happens out there, I understand, I've been hearing it forever, growth is coming, we've got to control it. It doesn't seem like this is growth, it seems like it's a monster. Compared to what we have done, this is a monster. Scenic Woods was a huge thing for us. Rocky Top was a huge thing for us. They're nothing compared to what you're talking about. What we're doing, I'm sorry, I'm speaking, Kim.
I'll hear you.
Okay. what we're doing in Reno also affects our neighbors. A Reno citizen is a community member, also goes on Jackson Trail, that's our community. The people in Azle, that's our community. The people in Springtown, that's our community. When we do something like this of this magnitude, it affects our community, not just the Reno taxpayers or the Reno citizens. It affects the surrounding areas, because that's our neighbors, that's our community. And then I also had an issue with about what Ed said, you bought this property back in 2003, I think is what it,
2004.
2004, I was going to say 2003. And we've been knowing for, we've known about this for at least 15 years. About at least 15 of those years. It's been talked about here and there and again. When I got on P&Z 6 years ago or whatever it was, and then when I ran for council, my neighbors, my friends, people that I met, asked me how I felt about keeping Reno rural. And I told them that's why I moved here. That was my purpose for moving here, was because it was a rural community where you had room. And this is certainly no disrespect to you at all. That's what I ran on. I still believe it. I still believe it. The people I talk to all around town, they still believe it. I still believe that we need to treat each other, our neighbors, whether they live in the city or not, we need to treat them with respect. We need to respect their property like we want them to respect ours. And that's all I have to say about that.
Rebecca, what was the percentage of protest that we had tonight?
Less than 10%.
Less than 10%?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to say something. You know, I moved out here, and it was kind of cool when I moved out here. I found out I had family that was here in Reno before Reno was Reno, and I love that. They're buried at the cemetery. I moved out here because it was a slower lifestyle. It's not country. I'm sorry, it's not, but it is a slower lifestyle. You talk about monsters, respectfully. This is not a monster. This is controlled. I've seen monsters. I've seen apartment complexes out of control and drugs and everything else involved. This is not a monster.
Okay.
This is control.
I'm not saying monster being a bad, evil thing. I'm saying monster being small, big.
I get what you mean.
It's humongous. Monster was probably the wrong word. Humongous.
But
It's humongous.
someplace else will come in with truly something huge, all these apartment complexes and everything else. Jackson Trail, I hear you. I hear you very well. And I can promise you, I'll do everything I can in my power, take care of y'all. Honestly, looking at it, we'll have to figure that out. But that's down the road. This is about zoning tonight. We can figure out how to make sure that your road is not overwhelmed and everything. And that's something we're gonna have to do. And that's something I feel strongly about. But that's not what this is about. This is about zoning for this property. This man owns it. He's been working on this. We can control this. If we disincorporated, we'd have no control. I'm sorry. We wouldn't have, and he could just came in. He would have made a lot more money just coming in. This man is trying to partner with us and work with us, and that is great. We have the control. We can handle this. We can help y'all Jackson Trail. Can let me assure you that's what mostly what it's been about tonight. How this will affect Jackson Trail, and I appreciate that. I would feel the same way. But as a council, we want to do what's best for everybody. That does include y'all too. So this is controllable. Mr. Hughes is, as far as I can tell, I've only been on this council for a few months, but he's been a man of his word. And those studies are gonna come back, and we'll work with him and do what's best for everybody. Y'all will not be left alone. Y'all are not gonna be thrown to the wolves. We're gonna make sure y'all are taken care of.
Lee, did you get a picture of this packet? Did y'all do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the roads gonna look anything like this after y'all?
As far as outside the community, I don't know.
The entrance, like into the development and into off the Jackson Trail, for instance, is it gonna be concrete curbs and nice?
Yes, ma'am. It complies with the subdivision ordinance. It'll be concrete as the ordinance exists today, it's concrete streets and curb and gutter. I understand there's been some discussion about the expense of that, going forward in the city, but I'm not privy to those discussions, but whatever the ordinance calls for, that's how we build the streets. And streets right now are concrete.
But these streets, this is Jackson Trail, that's not in Reno.
Right, but leading up to the development, it's not gonna look anything like that.
Well,
It'll be
it's-
appropriate, and then there'll be the road studies and traffic studies, right?
Right,
To
so
make
this
it-
is gonna look the same, it's gonna change when it gets to his property. It'll be concrete streets and whatever, but this will look like this until it hits his property. That's what he just said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they'll have to do a traffic study.
Well,
Reno
Determine
owns
what
the
it
part
means.
going right into the development.
yeah, so I mean.
So it's your responsibility to fix that road.
Half the
Plus
street
to
is
the,
Reno.
then it becomes the county, and then it becomes the city further.
Oh.
So any of the roads that are within the Reno city limits, we would be responsible for that. So that part of Jackson Trail that is within the Reno city limits is our responsibility. Anything that's outside of the Reno city limits, we're going to have to most likely address, because that's, I think, Hazel's ETJ. It may be ours, but we'll have to address that also. But I have always sat up here, and my goal has always been to assure that people have their rights on their property. It's their property, and they should be allowed to do what they're legally allowed to do according to the Texas Property Code and the Texas Constitution and the US Constitution. That's always been my goal. That's why 4 years ago on the P&Z, I stopped the fence ordinance that they tried passing. That's why 2 years ago on P&Z, I stopped the tree ordinance that they were trying to pass. My goal is to secure the rights of the people on their property. That's always been my goal. And these are his rights on his piece of property. He's not asking to go out there tomorrow and start building 2,600 homes on this piece of land. He's asking to be allowed to go and do what the state's already approved with his mud, and start doing the road studies, start doing the water studies, and start figuring out where all of these things go. It's gonna be more than a year, he's made that very clear, it's gonna be more than a year before he even starts building. So for those of you that want us to deny his rights on his property, what kind of rights are y'all willing to give up on your property? That's really the question here. You're the one that passed the ordinances that allows for 5 houses per acre. That was done in 2016 while you were mayor.
I was not mayor in 2016.
All right, guys, point of order. That's
all I got.
That's all I got. All right, guys, I think, are we ready to take action on this item number 11C?
I'm prepared to make a motion if everybody else is done.
About what he was saying, just one thing, just one more thing. When Kevin was sitting here talking about, he's been looking out for the property rights, and I agree, totally, I agree with that. But we also, we bypassed the rights for Mr. Braz to do what he wanted to do. He was allowed to keep his commercial part at the front, and that didn't make any sense to me either, that we could have put the commercial towards the back of the property. He's not gonna sell anything off of there, there's not gonna be sales tax, but it would have changed it to commercial, which would have brought in more property tax if we'd have changed it to commercial, but we didn't allow him to do what he wanted to do. Now, I understand it was against that zone, but he
That's
wasn't
why I was
allowed to
asking
rezone.
P&Z.
He wasn't allowed to rezone his property.
Right, that's why on the P&Z, we had passed it and recommended the council to approve it.
Right, but there was one property owner that kept it from going through.
Right, because there was a protest, and so it required a supermajority to pass.
But it was one property owner.
Yeah, but it was more than 20%.
Right.
He got that percentage.
The amount of property was more than the percentage. Okay.
Yeah.
He did it well. Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-07, establishing a plan development district, establishing the zoning requirements and related matters on an application to rezone approximately 603 acres located east of South Reno Road and south of Walnut Creek from SF1 single-family residential district, A agricultural district, and C1 commercial district to PD plan development district, and if such rezoning deviates from future land use and character map of a comprehensive plan, an application to provide for an amendment therefrom.
I got a motion on the floor, class 11C. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I got 4 ayes, 1 no. 11C passes. We are now going into executive session. Moving on to item number 14 to adjourn.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion on the floor to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I second.
Got a second by Ed. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Adjourned at 10:01 p.m.